dude. Careful. Did you forget?
Realist Podcast. Welcome to the You Are Here podcast. This is episode 151 of the podcast. Find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube video, Anchor.fm, www.youarepodcast.co. We can add 40M. Formosa hot sauce, the realest hot sauce in the game for the realest podcast in the game. If you're looking for a family recipe, some tasty sauce, it's not your average sauce. This is what we're talking. We don't support something that we don't support, you know? FormosaSauce.com. Go get yourself some.
Bang. Valino's Meat Market Steakhouse.
Boom.
You gotta get the New York. You want the New York experience. You want to go out, but you don't want to drive. You don't want to cross the bridge and sit in traffic and have to drive back home or hire an Uber and all that. It's in Wayne, New Jersey, man. Valino's Meat Market Steakhouse. We got all types of cuts of meat. The best top cuts of meat. The sides are unbelievable. We have a fully stocked bar now at Valino's Meat Market Steakhouse. So go check it out. I'll be there. We'll meet you there. Valino's Meat Market Steakhouse, Wayne, New Jersey.
And lastly, the shout out to the patrons at patreon.com/youareherepod. If you guys like the show, you want to support, the best way to support, get extra content on there. Boom. That's it. Hey, we're back.
We're back.
A nice early morning. I like this.
Yes.
We got another guest in the building.
Yes, we do.
Dave, I want you to introduce him.
I will right now. Okay. This man right here is he was a professional fighter, MMA fighter.
Oh, yeah.
He is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. He is a father. He is a trainer. He is a business owner. We have Alec Hooben with us today. Alec, thank you for joining us, too.
Yeah, we're throwing out plugs. Whipping Boxing right here.
Yeah.
156 Algonquin Parkway. We have boxing classes, private lessons. Just come by, check out the page. We're on Instagram, Whipping Boxing. Just see what you want to get there.
Dude,
Yes.
I feel left out.
Well,
I feel left out. I don't have.
Tell me your size afterwards. We'll get you one. Yeah, I have some in my car. So.
There you go. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So Alec, you started. You're a trainer now. You're a trainer. That's how we met. Me and Alec are fighters.
Yeah.
I've seen you in the ring. Don't shortchange yourself, man. You are a fighter, yes.
No. But the first time I saw you, man, we'll start like this. The first time I saw Alec and was like, "Oh, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm terrified." Right? There was a guy who came into the gym, and I think you trained somebody, and then you were kind of hanging out to spar. And another guy came in, a trainer with his fighter.
I know who it is, but yeah. So you tell the story.
I'm going to tell them what I saw. Yeah. So this guy comes in. He's got like these beautiful new boxing shorts and like new gloves, and his shoes are crazy colors. And like he jumps in the ring, and Alex is, he just warmed up a little bit on the bag. He's relaxed, and he's moving, easy and probably 25 to 50%. And this guy just starts fucking swinging, like from his hips, like just swinging all the torque he can into his hooks, and like. Alex gets up. I see this like thing clicking.
I slipped on that one. I do remember that very well, but I literally just lost my footing. That's what I was like. I'm thinking, you didn't knock me down. I know I'm getting that satisfaction.
Yeah. So you didn't knock him down.
I literally did just slip, but yeah.
So then Alec gets up. I see a switch flip in your brain, and then you drop levels. You slip a punch, you drop a level, and you dig a straight right into his liver, and he's done. All I hear him is and he's flattened, and he's all disappointed and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, never mess with this guy ever. So that's how I was introduced to you in my mind, bro. That was my first encounter.
So yeah, boxing, a lot of boxing gyms when you go to, so I come from MMA, and in MMA, like I get every gym is a little bit different, but most places, you kind of train just to kind of, you get your timing down. You're not trying to hurt the person. You always want to take care of your sparring partners, especially when these are the people you train with on a regular basis. So, I could tell you some stories about, the few times I have been to boxing gyms, they try to shake each other's heads off and everything. So, so kind of going off that story. So the one trainer, James Harris, because, a little context, Whippany Boxing is kind of my affiliation, but the gym's called Whippany Athletic Club. There's a bunch of contractors. So, there's different trainers there who do, they have their own fighters, they do their own thing. Yeah. So one of the other trainers, and we're all friendly. We're not, after each other. We're not trying to steal each other's clients or anything. So, there's one guy, he wants to train him to fight and everything. So he was like, hey, listen, I needed some bigger guys to spar with them. I was like, I'll spar with them. Like, I'm retired. I don't really spar for my own, just for the hell of it, but I'll help your guy out. But I was like, big thing, just relax. Right? I'm not trying to take any more shots. I've had a whole career doing that. So anyway, so the guy, he's not malicious. Some people, especially when they're newer, they, again, they throw down, they swing. They don't know any other way. So I'm telling the guy a few times, like, dude, just relax, calm down. So one of the ultimate equalizers, just, hit him in the body. I mean, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to give anyone brain damage or anything. So, but you give him a good body shot. I mean, you've trained a little bit. Have you been hit with a body shot yet? Or?
Not like that. Not like
just
that.
anytime. I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't take too much. Anytime you get hit with a body shot, I mean, you pretty much paralyze a guy. So that's the ultimate way of calm down, guy, calm down.
That's how you get humbled,
I've sparred with him a few times, but no. So let me tell you a story about one of the times I went to a boxing gym. In fact, I think Angelo was the kind of. Do you know of Dover Boxing Gym? Have you ever heard of it?
Yes.
So I think Angelo kind of like invited my coach because that's where I was a member there originally in 2016. I was working with my coach Carlos Brooks, and so he wanted me to work with some boxing.
Carlos, you trained with Carlos.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not there as much anymore, but at the time he was way more active as a trainer. So he's the guy that brought me in and everything. So so he wanted me to spar with some more boxers. He wanted me to get more training. So Angelo, I guess through Angelo, they said, hey, let's go to the Dover Boxing Gym. And this is kind of, I guess, it was my first time. Maybe not the very first time. I've been to another boxing gym. They went kind of hard, I guess, but it wasn't crazy. So I don't know if do you know the name Justin? I think he's Chase's cousin.
Yes,
So he sparred with one of the guys. Because they weigh like in weight class order. So I'm like the last one to go because I'm one of the biggest guys there. So I'm seeing, maybe some like 120-pound guy, whatever. Like they're throwing down, but not, like, when it got to Terrence, I mean, he's going to town on this guy. I'm like, what? Like, I was like, what's this guy? Is he just being a dick? Like, what's going on? And meanwhile, Angelo and the other trainer, they're like, oh, you think they're going hard? Oh, you should have saw him last Saturday. This is a regular thing for them. They just kill each other every day, and that's not smart for a long career. It's not smart for your health. It's not smart for like you shouldn't be taking each. There's a guy walked out of there, bloody nose and everything, like looked like he was broken and everything. And this is an average day of sparring. This is, I don't know, like Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day of the week it was, but so they take each other's heads off and everything. So anyway, at least, I mean, part of me wanted, and the thing is too, also, I don't need to, like, I kind of know better that, like, I've been knocked out at this point and everything, so it's like, I don't need to take this kind of damage in sparring. Why? Like, part of me wanted to walk out right here, but then it's like, all right, well, I got to represent, I stuck out like a sore thumb anyway. I mean, I'm the only MMA guy there. I have no shoes. I'm barefoot. Everybody else has boxing shoes. So, it's like, yeah, if the MMA guy gets scared and walks out, it's not a good look and everything. So I'm still going to, whatever. I go and spar with the guy, and, I'm a pro fighter, so at least I'm not scared of these guys, so whatever. Like, I go with the first guy. He was a little bit more of a warm-up guy. And again, I'm used to just kind of touching, not really following through too much, not trying to hurt the guy. So, again, I know he's, again, I'm a few levels ahead of him. So he's swinging. I can feel the wind on the punches here, like, but he's not really landing yet, at least. So in between rounds, his coach, I guess he mutters to one of the other guys. He goes, this MMA guy doesn't know how to put power in his punches. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So next round, exactly what we're talking. I mean, I pretty much TKO'd the kid the next round. And that's acceptable. Like, if you did that like, in an MMA gym, like, you're getting kicked out. Well, I'm just saying, that's not cool. That's what I'm saying. You go and TKO someone like that, it's like, hey, man, here's a warning, or, don't come back or sit out for the day. Like, but over there, it's acceptable. So they just find me a new guy. And I mean, so same thing. This dude's trying to take my head off again. Luckily, I'm a little bit better than this guy. So some of them went through. I mean, I definitely took some shots, and but I mean, overall, I got the better of the rounds. But I tell you, I mean, it felt like a real fight. I mean, there was, he's not holding back or whatever. I mean, and that's a lot of these gyms. Sometimes it escalates that way because it's like, all right, you want to hit hard, whatever. I'll hit you back as hard as you want to hit, and that's just then escalates. It just turns into a brawl, and you don't get paid anything for sparring. You don't get, you get paid in the ring, you get paid in the cage on fight night, in the pros especially. So why are you taking this kind of damage in class? But you go to most of these boxing gyms, that's the culture over there. It's very sink or swim. So I mean, if you're the top of the food chain, I mean, there's stories, like these guys, they knock out, they have fresh training partners, they knock everybody on the gym, and that's why. Some of these good gyms, it's like, there's one fighter that's well known there. Right. And MMA, like I said, you have these powerhouse gyms. Like, we were talking about like Amanda Nunes and Durston Poirier. They come from the same team. There's a million killers at American Top Team. And, I'm sure there's a lot of, bums that you don't know of either, too. But it's like a lot of great people. And, they said, let's say they train with each other. They're not trying to kill each other. They both have title fights coming up the next day.
Why hurt each other?
So that's, I mean, that's just MMA. Exactly. We take care of our training partners. That person makes you better, you make them better. But in boxing, it's, it's just, they knock out the person in front of you because that's what we're going to do on fight night. And then, then you break your toys, you have no one left to play with. Then how do you prepare from there? Then you have to buy training partners and
I got it, dude.
It's like, I think it's just like that. The competition just gets to you. Oh, man. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like even in like anything in life. You know what I mean? If you're just like on the street, if you're like a race or something, you know what I mean? Like. Even in training, I guess that once you get into that competition mode, it's like, all right, like I don't care what it is, like I'll do it right here.
Yeah, I guess, man. It's also like you're getting stung, and like that sucks. That doesn't feel good. So I want to sting this guy back now, and then I could see it just climbing and escalating. Yeah, you gotta keep a lid on it.
Like I said, it's not good for a long career. It's not good for finding your car keys later on in life. It's just there's no way to live, So
that's a serious thing, man. CTE, dude. You see a lot of fighters, Do you ever think about that? Does that ever?
I mean, that's also. I mean, I had a shorter career, so. I mean, I was knocked out in my second professional fight, and the big thing is I went pro at 20 years old. Oh wow! And part of the reason why is because I wasn't finding opponents at the amateurs. So I was offered a pro contract. Hey, a 20-year-old kid, I remember my first fight was at the Tropicana, the hotel in Atlantic City. They wouldn't let me check in. I go and give them my ID, and they're like, red flags are going off. I need to have the manager to even let me in there. And I won that first fight. I won my pro debut, but then that's the thing. Even so, that's the thing. It wasn't necessarily. It wasn't any better. My whole fight career, it was hard to find opponents in my weight class, so from the second fight. Again, I couldn't really find anyone I fought. I wouldn't say it was too much, too soon kind of thing, but I fought a guy who was like 2-0 as a pro. I'm 20 years old. I should have gotten more experience in the amateurs, and that's I choked that night. I mean, there's a lot of factors. I had to cut weight because couldn't find anyone in my weight class. They wanted me to go down another weight class, so I fought at 205, and the next lowest weight class is 185, which is a huge jump. So
what is that? light heavyweight? Or that's middleweight?
Middleweight. Yeah. So that's a huge. I mean, everybody looks at me. They think, oh, you're definitely a middleweight, because in MMA it's very normal. Everybody cuts 20 pounds. It's sometimes more. Dustin Poirier. I mean, there are stories. He used to fight at 145, and he'd be like 190 and everything. He bumped up. He's still big. Even at 155, he's still really big and everything. Yeah. Like Charles fought at 145 for a time period, and those were the fights where he was cut. He's breaking, and he was like, he looked terrible at 145. Now he's the 155 champion and everything. So anyway, what I was saying is, they wanted me to cut down to 185, and it's one of those, it's not a matter, 20 pounds isn't too much. Like, these guys who cut 20 pounds, well, they're 20 pounds over, but, they've been eating wings and drinking beer and everything. So all they do, they cut that out, and then they make their, so it's not just 20 pounds, it's 20 more pounds. I was already lean at 205. So, if I walked around about like 210, maybe my fight. So that's 25 pounds when I'm already lean, not, so anyway, so I didn't want to fight at 185. I resisted in my whole career, but I did agree to take what they call a catchweight fight. You kind of just, he's a middleweight, I'm a light heavyweight, let's fight at 195. So again, that was, I don't want to say, there's a lot of little factors going into that fight, but so I mean, it was a fight that was at 195. I definitely didn't rehydrate it properly. I cut weight, but I didn't rehydrate properly. And the big thing, I just choked. I didn't train well going into that fight. Again, I got knocked out in that fight. That was 2 days after my 21st birthday, so a lot of people black out for their 21st. Well, I did too. Just it was from a big left hand instead. So, but yes, I went pro way too soon. Got knocked out in my second fight, and
what does that do to you?
Well, I was going to say, because the thing is, I asked a lot of my training partners. They've been experienced fighters and everything. A lot of them, not everybody, especially in MMA, sometimes you lose decisions, you get submitted or something. Like, I don't think any of my training partners have really been knocked out and everything. So I would ask them, like, hey, how long should I wait till I spar again? And people didn't really. They said, just when you feel good again. Terrible. Don't ever listen to that advice. So I could give you my advice, 10 years, however many years later or whatever. First off, I mean, you're gonna have a big, like, when you get knocked out, that's a concussion. All right, so you got to take that into consideration. Like, you have a headache for it could be a week, 2 weeks, depends how severe it was and everything. But it's like, wait a good 2 or 3 months after the headache symptoms stop going away and everything. People, 2 or 3 months, that's great. No, wait 2 or 3 months, because I made this mistake. What happens? I went back too early. That fight was November 2nd. I'm a nerd. I remember all the dates of all my fights and everything. It was November 2nd. And I remember Christmas. It was like, I wanted to wait 2 months. I was like, at Christmas, I'm like, that was my Christmas gift to myself. I want to go spar. Bad idea. I mean, again, I could feel it in my head. My head was hurting again. And then it kind of reset the time. Then I had to, hey, like, let those headaches go away again. And so I made that mistake. And I ended up taking the whole next year off, because part of the reason why in MMA is, like, I was my favorite fighter at the time was Anderson Silva, and Anderson, I'm built like him, a tall southpaw, and pretty much the blueprint of him is like, he's great standing, and if you take him to the ground, he could triangle choke you. So that was kind of my blueprint. Well, the guy I was fighting was just a one-trick pony. He was he was had big left hand. He was a southpaw, so. So, like, that being said, it's like, I should have had more tools. I should have been able to say, like, why just fight him head to head? Why not take him to the ground? And at the time, he was he did pretty well. He was 3-0 that night after he beat me. He went on to like 5-1 or something. And he won a ring of combat title, but then he at this point he's on a big losing streak, and everybody who beat him just took him down, out wrestled and everything. So not that I had the blueprint in front of me at the time. He was but still, it's like I could have fought him a different way. I had to fight him strength for strength and everything. So I took the whole next year just focused on grappling and did as many tournaments as possible, because that was the big thing. I didn't have enough experience, fight experience. I choked that night, and that's like, there's consequences to fight it. It's not like you lose a basketball game, whatever. I mean, whatever. Let's still go out and go to a diner afterwards, have some ice cream, whatever. Like you lose a fight. I mean, that's again, there's physical consequences. The records come. I mean, especially in boxing, if you have a loss or two, I mean, you're a death sentence. That's you'll never get signed to the big promotions.
In MMA, it's a bit.
In MMA, it's a little more lenient, but that's a big reason why I retired. Everyone's like, I retired at 26. I just turned to like, oh, that's so young. Why'd you retire so early? Like, I had 5 losses. It's like that's I'd have to go on like a 10-fight win streak to even be looked at. Right. And that's that's assuming everything goes right. And it was so hard for me to find fights that finding 10 fights was a challenge. Let alone again, I'm kind of saying that's an arbitrary number, but it's again when I kind of saw that, hey, the UFC is not really realistic at this point. I'm not going to get there. Like that's why take that damage if you don't need to?
Why keep taking damage?
Another thing I want to add is just talking about getting knocked out is like, aside from physical and everything, like I hate using this word because PTSD. every time I sparred, I was nervous. I'm like, hey, we're again talking about like, we're take care of each other and everything. Like, I hate saying PTSD because you think of like veterans and everything, but that is the right term. That's the word.
Yeah,
It's like, so every time I'm sparring here, it's like, again, I'm thinking, hey, we're taking care of each other. That guy didn't follow through, but it's like, this was a fight. That one might have knocked me out. And so it's like, so for the next year and everything, I was really like mentally affected. Like, I was like, it was hard for me to spar. It was hard for me to like, kind of have that confidence to go back. The other thing, part of it is like why I went pro so early. I mean, again, I walked through this guy in my first pro fight and everything. I was just a confident 20-year-old kid. I didn't know any other. I was like, hey, I did well in the amateurs. Again, in the first fight, I messed the dude up. Like, I just felt like I was the king of the world and everything. And then you have one bad night. Now it's like, I was a shell of what I once was. I was afraid to go out there.
What did it take to come back from that?
Man.
What did it take?
Well, like I said, I needed more experience just going out there competing. So with grappling, there's less stakes. You go out there, as long as you're not, I mean, don't get me wrong, you get hurt if you don't tap out in time and everything, get in your arm leg lock or something. But generally speaking, it's like, it's still going out there, competing against the anxiety, having the butterflies and everything, going out there anyway. So that's, I can tell you 10 years later for sure, the more you compete, again, it's not that it'll never completely the butterflies will never completely go away, but you get more used to it. You realize the more you do something and you realize, hey, it's not the end of the world. Hey, like, you lost before, it's not the end of the world. Hey, you've come out on the other side victorious. Like, that's the easiest way, I think, to, to, I guess, kind of like move on and to regain your confidence and everything. So that's the thing. I spent the next year just really focused on grappling and everything. So the next fight, I remember, so again, I have all this PT. I'm thinking about how afraid I am that you'll get knocked out again and everything. So it was a cold February day, and February 21st. I could tell you all the dates.
I love this. So, I love that you know the dates.
Well, you have that on your calendar and you're telling yourself, it's like I don't forget that stuff. So
well, it's also like, is it something for you like? There's nothing else like I can't imagine knowing that you're going to face a man who's training every day to kick the shit out of you.
And that's what I'm saying, especially and coming off a knockout loss, coming off a year layoff and everything. So all the doubts in the world are going through my mind. So I remember the reason why I bring up February is because it was a cold February day. There was it was a huge snowstorm. In fact, neither of my coaches were able to make it there. And despite their best efforts, don't think they were like deadbeats. Like it was a long drive. It was like it was in Pennsauken, so it was like bottom of New Jersey kind of thing. It was like
so
2.5 hours.
You cornered yourself?
Well, I ended up having he's actually a current UFC fighter. This guy Kyle Dawkins. His brother Chris Dawkins is also in the UFC. I think he's fighting like next week or whatever. But he was supposed to be the main event.
Shout out.
Do I?
No, we just give shout outs. We just point at the camera.
I don't know crazy, but next Saturday he's fighting, I think. Anyway, so he was fighting on the other. In fact, I fought his opponent later on, but so Kyle, I asked him and his coach pretty much, hey, can you guys just wrap my hands and walk out there with me? So two complete straight. But anyway, so it was freezing, right? So it was like fight was supposed to start at like 7:00 or something on the second fight of the night. So it's like, all right, like, do I warm up now? Do I warm, when the first fight's coming up?
Yeah.
And they were like a whole hour late. Like, I just had a guy fight last night, and I'm glad he was the third fight of the night, but they were right on time. It was the whole event. Like, at least my guy was done in like a half hour or whatever.
Wow.
The guy a month ago, he didn't fight till 10:00. So you never know. Sometimes all these things are gonna start on time. But anyway, so it's it's a cold February. It's freezing out. Everything. And wondering, hey, do I warm up now? Do I want to conserve my energy? Again, they were a full hour late. So just remember this guy who was the first fight of the night. He wasn't warming up. He was just meditating with his shirt off and in a freaking freezing out and everything. So now here's the thing. I'm in the locker room, so I don't know at this point what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, finally an hour later, they finally send the guy out and everything, and then almost right away here, ding ding ding, all right, fight's over. And then I hear some guy walking back, and he's going like. He's like, dude, that guy got knocked out. But like, dude, that guy got knocked, that was a bad knockout or anything, right? One thing also I should mention is like, as a fan, you guys, when you watch a knockout, like, oh, knockouts are awesome. They're cool, right?
Yeah, they look
Ever since that happened, it's like, I look at it from the other guy's perspective. I look at it as like, oh, I'm horrified for the other guy. And the empathy for the guy who got knocked out and everything. So when I hear that, it's like, oh, great, guy got knocked out. Like, again, I'm really, my heart's really beating and everything.
Yeah.
And again, and now I'm next up, so I'm on deck. So maybe I'm going out in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. Well, no, they have to wheel this guy out in a stretcher and everything.
Ooh.
And he's screaming the whole way out, and then they open up the doors and it's freezing, so you have the cold wind, the snowstorm and everything. They had to bring him out to an ambulance and everything. And
you're panicking.
I was saying you're up next to everything, right? And again, it's one of those things. And now it delayed things. I don't remember. It might have been another half hour till I actually went out there. And again, trying to stay warm, after they open up these doors and everything. So anyway, when it's finally my turn, they have the camera right in my face, and like I'm twitching. The video's on YouTube. You'll see me. I'm like, they're calling my name. I'm like twitching this whole time, right? But sometimes talking about sometimes you go on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
When the fight, the best way I could describe it is like it's an out of body experience. It's like you're watching yourself. It's kind of like almost like a dream. So the fight starts. First of all, it was a really small cage, and I mean, I guess the night before I just didn't really put together, but pretty much we both took one step forward. We have our hands out. We're touching gloves like already, and so just we clinched up. I hit him with a big knee to the nose, and then another thing too, the time's going by so fast. So in my eyes, this was like this is a boring like 5-minute fight. And actually, it was like a minute and some change or whatever. It was
really?
Minute 12, I think, or something. But yeah, I hit him with a big knee and busted him up. He's bleeding. He went for a submission. I grabbed his arm. It was a quick fight. All right.
Wow.
So no, in actual, yes, that's the thing. I mean, going into that fight, I mean, I had all the nerves. I don't, there's a lot going into that camp. I mean, I was like even contemplating retirement and everything going into that.
Wow.
Like, and that being said, yeah. So then after winning that fight, and I remember when the promoter gave me the paycheck, and they're like, hey, we're having next fight in May. I was like, you want it? I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, so after you win, that's the thing, as low as the lows are, the highs are equally high. So so it's like, yeah. I mean, I felt horrible. It ruined my life pretty. It was like the worst year of my life when I got knocked out. But but yeah, that's like then you win a fight, and then you're the man. Everybody's congratulating you and everything.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was working at a gas station making like $7 an hour. So when I got a $1,200 check, I was like, that was good money to me.
Dude.
So, that's when you average it out. I mean, it was like a minute and some that's like $1,000 a minute. And everything. So that's all these fighters who bitch about fighter. I mean, I could rant on that. I mean, these UFC fighters, they all cry. They don't get paid enough and everything. Yeah, it's like, dude, you fight in a cage for 15 minutes and you say you don't get paid. First off, you signed a contract. I mean, I could really rant on this. I mean, they all talk about they don't get paid enough. You signed a contract, number one. Yeah. But your contribution to society is you get in a cage for 15 minutes. Yeah. And what do you mean you don't get paid enough? Like you're playing a sport for a living, and anyone say, oh, they train twice a day. They train. They get hit. You choose to do that. That's your choice. So how could you possibly complain about a contract you signed? Not to mention, again, I made $1,200 in my first fight, right? If I got signed to the UFC, I'd be smiling ear to ear. That's the biggest payday by a long shot. I mean, especially, and the ones who complain are the contenders. It's not the debut. It's the one who's in the top 10 rank and everything. I mean, as long as I've been watching the sport, there's always fighters that complain and cry. And the thing is, it's always like the ones who have a name. They're the guys who are like in the top 10, but they're not the champion and everything. A lot of times too, they're boring fighters. The ones that they don't. There was an article. I rarely read these articles because they, again, I don't really want to hear these fighter sob stories. They're putting out GoFundMes all the time. Like,
are they really?
They'll put out GoFundMe, dude. You're getting paid. Like, file an LLC if you need to. They cry the UFC doesn't pay for all their coaches. Like, okay, then buy their plane ticket. You're getting paid for this. File it as a business expense. But I read this one recently. Guy Jared Cannonier, I'll just say first, he can kick my ass. Okay, he's my size and everything. So dude. I'll say this, but I'll also say this. I was reading this headline. He's a number 3 ranked middleweight, right? Yeah. And they're talking about the guy was nearly broke before his last fight. But then I read into this. Well, that's what they say. No, they read into it, right? He hasn't fought in a year, right? The last time he fought, he lost. He lost to the number 1 contender. He lost to former champion. But it's like, he's coming off a loss. He hasn't fought for a year. Yeah. So you haven't worked for a year. Okay, poor guy. I don't really feel that sorry for you. Yeah. But then you read into it even more. He's like, well, I got bills. I've got kids. I've got 2 mortgages. I'm like, hold on. You have 2 mortgages, okay? Well, yeah, he lives in Alaska and he goes train somewhere else. Again, that's a business expense. If you decide, hey, you don't get great training in Alaska, cool. Then move out of Alaska. Right. That's a choice. Okay, the UFC doesn't owe you anything to sit on your ass for a whole year and be able to pay for your 2 mortgages, your living expenses. Like, you signed that contract,
Yeah,
I get it, man.
I'm glad we got someone to talk about.
I mean, we never had anyone talk about it.
The thing about people say the opposite. They're always, these poor fighters.
Poor fighters.
Yeah, because the media all picks up on their sob stories. They're all, these, people like Jake Paul, who's always, Dana White, pay your fighters. Like, dude, you were a YouTube star. You already had a name and everything. You made money from day one, but it had nothing to do with fighting. You could have, done a charity golf event and would have generated the same amount of money and everything. So, that's the thing. Like, people, the ones who say, pay them more money. They've never dabbled in this game at all. They have no clue how much goes into this.
When you see a Jake Paul watch, like when you watch his fight, if you see his highlights or whatever, what are your thoughts on his where is he level wise? Is he anywhere near?
He's sloppy. Well, I'll say this. Listen, first of all, again, you're a YouTuber and you make this kind of crazy. You can't hire the best trainers. So relative to the amount of time he's training, he's fighting like. There's asterisks next to both of them, right? Because when he fought Ben Askren, it's like I remember people asking me, "Hey, Ben Askren might be a champion in combat sports, but that guy can't throw a punch for shit. I mean, that guy can't fight." And I'm a Ben Askren fan, but again, his work is done. His championship have been made by taking guys to the ground, beating up there. He doesn't have any hands, and that's why I remember clients asking me, "Oh, who's going to win this?" And then, there's a little bit of a debate there. People saying, "Oh, this guy's an Olympian. He's a champ." I'm like, "No, dude, that YouTube star's going to knock him out really easy." I didn't know exactly the detail. I was like, maybe Ben Askren will kind of get pummeled for 4 rounds or so. I don't know, but I was like, there's no scenario I could see. But people maybe thought, oh, he's going to eat a bunch of shots and beat him in the later. I'm like, there's no scenario I see Ben Askren having a chance.
Once I saw just the way Ben looked, I think
in all fairness, he's always looked a little. He never looked shredded, but that's another thing. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of asterisks. He had a hip replacement. Both him and Tyron Woodley, they fight 20 pounds lighter. There's a lot of things that. So that's him weighing at 190 was him dad bodding and So that's everyone said, oh, he didn't take it seriously. No, that's what Ben Askren looks like. He had a hip replacement. He probably took it seriously for 8 weeks, but
I'm pretty sure he just did it as a joke. He got paid a million.
Not as a joke, a cash grab.
Got paid a million.
Cash grab. Well, the thing, Ben Askren's coach is one of the most well-respected. This guy Duke Rufus, one of the most well-respected coaches in MMA. So it's like this guy was not able to get through it. Something was missing here. You couldn't teach him, I guess. So something. Again, the idea that 8 weeks, this Olympian, he's going to set his mind to it. I'm like, dude, there's no fix. You're not going to create a fighter in 8 weeks. That's not going to happen. So No, that one I called. But whereas like Tyron Woodley, for example, I thought that was going to be too big of a step up in competition. Hey, listen, he did beat him. I mean, now again, asterisk. Okay, Tyron used to fight 20 pounds lighter. He's coming off a 4-fight losing streak in the UFC. When he loses, or when he fights, like he sometimes just doesn't pull the trigger. Even his wins, sometimes he just like he does the bare minimum. So it wasn't that big of a surprise, I guess. But that being said, it's still a solid win. That's what I'm saying. Again, he has a great highlight reel of knocking people out with 4-ounce gloves. 20 pounds later and everything, but you're gonna take all that away from him. That's still a solid win for him.
He's great at picking his fights, though.
Yeah,
you know
he's so good
because he's
fighting MMA. That's what I'm saying. Because again, MMA guys who's over the combat sports guys, but again, he was supposed to fight a real boxer. Again, I don't really follow this stuff. I don't care enough about it. But and then like boxing fans get really upset about like. I understand their frustration, but at the end of the day, like, it's supply and demand, and if people want to watch
it's
them,
like people say it's like disrespectful for the sport and like stuff like that.
So I can relate to them completely because I think it was 2008, like when I was a fan of the UFC was still kind of an up-and-coming sport. Nobody really knew what it was, and this WWE wrestler Brock Lesnar was going to be making his debut. And I remember just thinking, this is the biggest joke. It's going to ruin the UFC's integrity and everything. And it was still kind of fighting for acceptance as a mainstream sport and everything. And not to mention, like out of they still made the main event, I guess, a heavyweight title fight, but the one that got all the commercials was Brock Lesnar. So it's like, how is it that the champions are playing second fiddle to this guy? But that being said, so again, I thought this is an embarrassment. This is terrible and everything. Kind of talking, like he was going to be fighting a former champion named Frank Mir. He was coming off a motorcycle accident, didn't look like what he used to look. So it's like, all right, so this is a good matchup, and again, like why it's going to make the UFC look so bad. Some guy just kind of dabbles into this and wins and beats a former champion. Well, he lost that night, and I remember thinking, thank you, Frank Mir, you saved the UFC and everything. Well, again, later that year, like he went to one more fight, and he even leapfrogged Frank Mir, and he got the next title shot. And again, same thing. It's like, goddamn, it's a good match. Like he's fighting a 45-year-old guy. The UFC division was so weak at the time. 45-year-old Randy Couture, 220 pounds, and again, good matchup. So again, when he won that belt, I remember thinking, this is terrible for the UFC. Me too. It's going to be horrible. But that being said, that it helped the UFC's fan base so much. Like it grew. Like not even just when Brock, that's at records and everything, but the sport in itself, people watch the night because you tune in to watch Brock, but then like, hey, the first fight of the night, there was, think about like the last pay-per-view, right? Like Kamaru Usman and Colby was the main event. Well, who was opening the show? It was Chandler and Gaethje. It's like exactly. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, you go to watch Usman, you go to watch someone, you go to watch Brock Lesnar, but that person who watched the first fight of the night, or whatever, stole the show and everything. So that's what makes people fans and everything. So I don't know that that's happening with boxing, but all I'm going to say is, first off, people don't care about boxing because boxing doesn't actually sell a real fight and everything. Like last night, I think Loma fought last night.
I didn't even know.
Who did he fight? Exactly. That's my point. More important, again, even a hardcore fan could probably answer. Like, who did his opponent fight 3 fights ago? Tell me about his opponent's last 3 fights. Nobody knows that, right? They sell a single fighter. Sometimes it's a matchup. Hey, like this guy versus that guy, but so few and far between. It's like, Canelo. I'm a big Canelo fan. Okay, he's a 10-1 favorite and dominant. Okay, cool. Yeah. What else? Like, what else? I could just watch the highlight on YouTube. Why would I want to? Or at least, like I said, the Jake Paul one. At least people telling me, oh no, Ben Askren's an Olympian. No, he's going to take it. And I say no, he can't fight. Or at least there's a little. That's what makes a compelling fight. At least there's a little bit of a debate. There's, hey, you say he's going to win, I say no. Like we did, last night again, we were talking about right before the podcast that me and my one friend, we always debate. Amanda Nunes is the best fighter of all time. No, she just got beat last night. I still argue at this point in time she has the most impressive credentials of anyone, right? But again, that's what creates a low talking point and everything. Again, Juliana Pena, I thought this was a waste of fight and everything, but guess like there's a talking point. There's still something to say. Hey, now. There's a conversation, an argument. With boxing, it's like, 10-1 favorite, won impressively. It's like, what else is that does not even get me excited.
You trained with Nunes before.
Yeah, so when the first gym I started up 10 years ago, like she
What's
was
the name of that gym?
AMA Fight Club.
Okay.
I'm not with them anymore, but and she left like maybe within the year, I guess. But so she signed up there. You didn't really speak too much English and everything, but because we were talking about was before the podcast, trying to recreate this conversation a little bit. She used to choke in the big fights. I remember seeing her back in the day, sparring with guys, 20 or 30 pounds bigger than her, and just wailing on these dudes, like talking about going hard. Amanda was one of those people that broke that social etiquette where she would just spar with people and just brawl with them, and it's like, you might be a woman, but whatever, you're gonna throw down, I'm gonna throw down with you. Yeah. So I watched Amanda back in the day, and it's funny because she was fighting in Strikeforce at that time. Women weren't in the UFC at all, and the champion at the time was Miesha Tate. And I remember just thinking she'll destroy Miesha Tate and everything. And years later they fought for the UFC title and everything. That's who she won the title from. But Amanda was so good in the room. I saw what she did. And I'm like, I feel bad for whoever's on the other side cage from her. And meanwhile, I remember but then she lost the fight she had when she was training under our gym. Like she used to choke in big fights. Even her UFC loss against Kat. Well, now she has 2. But when she lost to Kat Zingano, it was like she can make some sloppy, irresponsible mistakes and everything that she used to choke in big fights a lot. So
what do you think it could be? Because you said you trained with Khabib.
Yeah, exactly.
the Eagle.
Just the name.
The Eagle.
Just the names.
Well, back in the day, so there's a lot of these Russian fighters. This gym in Fairfield called K Dojo. They used to come up there, and that's what. Again, I'm trying to recreate these conversations because Khabib, again, he was one of many Russians. It's like he was one of those. I did remember his name because he just got signed to the UFC.
Okay.
I helped him actually his second UFC fight. He fought Gleison Tebow. They needed a big southpaw to train with, and and most people think he lost that fight. Actually, by the way, that was arguably that was the fight he should have lost. That the bad decision about I was training with him a lot going into that fight.
Wow.
And, but the thing, there was a lot of Russian guys, man. And I tell you, like, Khabib was like I want to say he was the least of the guys, but like he wasn't even the scariest Russian that came there. There was this guy Adlan Amagov. I don't know, you guys like Joe Rogan style where you could pull up like a clip or something?
Yeah, we can.
You can. So pull up this guy Adlan Amagov. I'll show you.
I don't even know how to spell that one.
I'll help you out with that. But while you pull it up, I was just gonna say there was a lot of these great crazy Russian fighters. But what I'm getting at is Khabib was good, but he wasn't even the best guy in the room. That's what I'm saying. He was. I was 19 years old. I'm not gonna say like I got the better room or anything, but I remember like when he took me down, I'd be like, I can't believe I just got taken down. Not like,
Wow.
So it was more like, So I actually remember when I had my first cauliflower year, Khabib went out of his way to punch me in that bad year. I don't But yeah, again, he was good. But I mean, like you had guys like Jim and Dan Miller who were in the UFC at the time. Like they were in the gym in the room as well. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, again, going with them, Dan, for example, would mop the floor with me. I mean, he could do whatever he wanted with me. So
Dan was a monster.
You on YouTube?
How would you spell it?
Go on YouTube and then
Go on YouTube first.
searching yourself. I see what you're doing.
Hey, we had a crazy week here, actually.
Yeah.
There's a podcast that started a podcast. It's a conservative podcast, political podcast.
ADLAN.
ADLAN.
It'll help. And then, that one right there. Yep. So there's one clip particular I just want to find. It's a quick one. I can show.
Oh, look at this guy.
Scroll down.
Oh my god.
Well, maybe I have to say click the highlights, but there's this one where he wheel kicks this dude. That's what I'm looking for.
Want the little highlights?
Yeah. Well, scroll up a little. Well, yeah, it's
Scroll up.
Yeah, he trained with us for a few fights, but yeah, I guess you just gonna have to click a highlight reel. But
jeez Louise.
okay, that one. The one that's a title. That's the clip at least. Click that one and.
Oh no.
That's the one. You have to just.
Oh shit.
This has a whole highlight reel, but
probably can't put the music
skip
in.
through this thing. Let's see.
Well, this again talking about social etiquette. These Russian guys, they didn't follow that at all. So this guy would be throwing spinning back kicks in training or whatever, and then you'd ask his trainer, "Hey, can you tell him like you're not allowed to do that here?" Blah 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 blah. They say it in Russian, and then he goes back to doing it anyway. So it's like, did he actually listen, or did he actually tell him not to, or say do it again or something? Like, what did he really tell him? So, but yeah, sparring with this guy was terrifying.
Ooh,
fast forward a little bit. Well, I want to see that particular night. If you rewind just a little bit, that's like combat sambo.
Rewind a little
back a little.
Yeah. That's assuming they show that knockout. This particular fight was the one I was going to pull up here. Maybe you hit the double tap there. So yeah, that one is a highlight reel. So I don't know how this one goes.
See, maybe they show it later.
Oh, back up.
Maybe like this.
Go up if anything. Because there's one particular knockout I want to show you.
Oh man.
Okay, maybe I think it's this one. Yep, that one.
Oh my
God. Okay, that's the clip I want to show you. That's what I'm saying. That's what it was like. He used to throw that stuff in sparring. That's what
he would throw spinning wheel kicks like that?
Not in the head. I remember him hitting me with a good body, like a spinning back kick to liver. Yeah, that one right there. I remember hitting him with a good spinning liver kick, to the body one time, and this is early in my career and everything. So I remember like that.
You're 19 at this point.
18 at that point when I'm sparring with him. Yeah, this is before. I think I had one fight at the time, and I remember his trainer went to. But yeah, he kicked my ass this one day, and his trainer was like, this guy belongs. This guy shouldn't be in the pro. Practice or whatever. Like this guy doesn't belong here. Like it's like no, dude. Like no, Adlan's just freaking a monster and everything. Like
God.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. So years later, the same gym.
Be mesmerized by this.
The same Jim K Dojo, like he finds a lot of good Russian talent. Everything, even a lot of these guys in the UFC. I'm trying to think, like could be there's a whole like Red Fury team that they used to be. I think there's like a falling out. But all I was gonna say is so he has my fourth pro fight. I was 2-1 going in the fight, so I ended up going 2. I fought this other Russian guy. His name was Azamat Mirzakhanov, and everybody said don't ever fight a guy with a name like that. Well, I'm like, whatever. Am I gonna get afraid of his name? Whatever. I can't just every Russian fighter. So I fight this guy. He was 1-0 with a 10-second knockout. I didn't have much footage, so I kind of had some of those like combat sambo matches that stuff like that. So I didn't really have much footage to go off the guy, but the thing is, I was feeling good. I was 22, I think at the time. I was 22. I was feeling good in practice and everything. Yeah. Whatever, man. I'm not afraid of a guy just because of his name. And I'd say that his first fight was 10 seconds. Well, I lasted twice as long as the other guy because we touched gloves. First punch, like he dropped me. I only remember seeing the we touched gloves. And then I remember seeing the referee because it was like first punch of the fight kind of dropped me. And that basically it doesn't mean he dominated. It's just like he caught me real early and everything. That guy got signed to the UFC like earlier this year. Actually, he got signed to the UFC like 2 years ago, but then failed his drug test. But he's officially in the UFC now.
So he might have been dabbling in a little.
He caught me with one punch. I'm not gonna say. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how the fight would have otherwise played out, but Oh, yeah. So that gym, that's what I'm saying. They have a lot of killers out there, and people told me who was sparred with them say the same thing. Like, yeah, no, those guys, yeah, they'll go to town on you, they'll kill you in the ring and everything. And,
Man.
yeah. So, but at least that guy's looking good. That's the thing. All the guys who beat me at the end of the day, they're all credentialed fighters and everything. So,
Yeah,
you know, the guy, I think he's 10-0 or 11-0 right now in the UFC. So, at least he's, at least I didn't lose to any bums at least. So.
Yeah, man. But dude, growing up, like little Alec, were you thinking, this is what I want to do? I like to hurt people. I want to be the king of the hill. I want to be a champion.
Growing up, I was a fat, lazy kid or whatever. I didn't do anything.
Really?
So, well, that's the thing. So sometimes, any personal trainer tells the story of, like I was fat and now look at me, I'm shredded or whatever. I was poor and now I'm rich kind of thing. Like, so I don't know. Maybe you just compensate something. You're fat your whole life and everything. That's the thing. I saw UFC, I think, when I was in 8th grade, and I didn't. The thing, UFC was such a new sport. I didn't even know how to get started with it. So what was I going to I drove for a second. Yeah, I didn't even know how to get started. So all I knew is I just stopped being a fat piece of shit, pretty much. That's what I was. So I started just like playing pickup games of basketball just to be more active and everything. And I found like a karate gym, which wasn't quite the same, but it's like I found places. I was looking for it basically. I was trying desperately. So it wasn't until pretty much my senior year that I found that place, AMA Fight Club. That's why I've been training a little longer than I like to admit. But like the only relevant training I guess started like my senior year of high school. Found AMA Fight Club and. Yes, at this point it's a little over 10 years now. So
wow, so you weren't? Did you wrestle in high school?
Yeah, that was one thing. Yeah, so that was this one step I guess I knew. So as a freshman, I wrestled. I wasn't any good in wrestling.
Well, that's a big thing in MMA. To have that background.
Definitely, yeah. And wrestling, I would say, even MMA, which obviously has a multiple piece of it. Wrestling is the toughest. Getting through the wrestling room is the toughest thing. That's what some of these kids that come in the boxing gyms. They'll say, "Oh, I got wrestling season coming up, but I'll still be in the gym." I'm like, dude, that's wishful thinking, man. Like, especially when it's like their first year. I'm like, dude, if you're wrestling, okay, I'll see you after the season because getting through that room was the toughest thing in life.
Way harder than MMA training and boxing.
Well, it's the point. It's not necessarily. It's good like for mental toughness, but that's not. Every day they want to kill you, and it obviously depends on the coach a little bit, but that's the thing when they try to just kill you and break you and everything every day in practice. That's not again. It's not good for longevity. Because, especially when you're young, you can handle it. When I was in high school, but I remember like I hate school, and meanwhile, I was like, I'd be seeing the clock at 3:00 and goes, can I just stay in 9th period forever? Like, it's like because you're so sore and tired from the day before, and everything. You just got to go out there again and again. That's what it builds toughness, but it's not smart long term because especially as you get younger. I'm telling all these 19, 20-year-old kids that I train right now, telling all the time, listen, don't just exert energy for the sake of exert. Like you need to take rest days. You need to listen to your body and everything. And when you're young, you have this ability. Then you hear UFC fighters, you hear these Russian guys, and they'll say all these professional fighters they train 2 or 3 times a day. I'm like, well, some of them maybe, but like, trust me, they schedule rest days. Some of them are light days, and sometimes they just round it up and they say, I train 2 or 3 times a day. Like, you maybe have a day or two that you do 2 or 3s, and then you have days where you do singles and everything. Your body's not meant to just go 100% all the time, so you need to have rest days. You need to have light days, and especially as you get older, that's one thing nowadays. I train once a day. Again, I train harder than that one day, but I don't do more for the sake of doing more. And that's one of the big things I try to tell my young guys. Is like, the one guy, he's telling me one day he was sparring, like, he's like, I did 12 rounds of sparring. Then I hit the bag. Then I ran. And I'm like, so what was your purpose that day? Was it just to expend energy? Or did you actually like just focus on the sparring if that's what you're doing here? If today's a conditioning day, focus on that run. Like, why just do more for the sake of doing more? The analogy I give him is like, hey, let's say, you're going to the grocery store, you have like, let's say you bring $100 bill, right? But your groceries came out to $60. Do you just buy random stuff on the pantry? Just, but from my understanding, that's how food stamps work. So maybe in that case you would want to, kind of use your budget, but otherwise it's like, listen, if you have extra money, okay, maybe fill up your tank of gas after. Hey, maybe your tank's full, then save that money. It's okay to have leftover money after. So it's the same thing with energy. It's like if you have energy at the end of practice, that's not a bad thing. Take it with you tomorrow, and then come back fresh tomorrow. That's a good thing. So
absolutely,
that's something as I get older. I try to impart that wisdom, and a lot of times these 20-year-olds, oh yeah, that makes sense, and then they just do it. And that's what I don't want to describe. I'd rather have someone who's overtrained, in there every day and have to tell them slow it down than have a slacker, someone who's not coming at all. Because a lot of these guys say they want to fight, and then the actions don't match up with their words.
They don't show up. Shows of the world.
Yeah, exactly. It gets they're into it for a little bit. And they watch Jake Paul. They're motivated, and then whatever got him into it, whatever got him interested, and then they say they want to be a fighter, but then meanwhile they also want to go to the club on Saturday and everything. And then especially if they tell them, oh, they don't have the money to you spent a month's worth of Whitney boxing. We save a lot of money renting space over there.
Right.
So it's like we're one of the cheaper ones in town. So these younger guys all the time they'll say, oh, I can't afford it, and they truly mean that. But it's like then I'm like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I went to Morristown. So it's like, all right, you Ubered there for $20 and you paid a $10 cover charge and every drink is $10. Like, of course you could afford it. It's a matter you don't want it. It's like you wanted it for a minute when you watch Jake Paul or you watch Charles Oliveira, whoever want it. Whoever does, exactly. They see the the fight night. They see, hey, they won the fight. They got that awesome knockout.
Glory of
exactly.
it.
They don't exactly the training. You realize you got to do this every day. You do this twice a day, and then so
I get it, dude.
yeah, a lot of them they want to fight. They just they don't want to put in the work to do this.
Yeah, man, it takes a lot.
So some of these younger guys too. I'll ask them this sometimes, like especially when they want to rush it, because again, I went pro at 20 years old. So one of my guys, he was telling me, because I had my guy CJ fight last month in November.
Shout out.
So so one of my other guys, he was like saying, "Oh, I want to fight by the end of the year." I'm like, dude, is your goal to fight, or do you want to win the fight too?
Right.
I'm like, if you want to fight, don't put a timeline on it right now. I'll tell you when you're when you're ready. So especially because it's someone I just started working with too. Yeah. So it's like, listen, you could go there, okay, with the habits you currently have and everything. I want to kind of make sure you have good habits.
For sure.
And, kind of mold you a little bit and everything. Sometimes it's harder to work with someone who's brand new because, or someone who's already got experience, because someone brand new, I can mold them right from the start.
Right.
When someone already comes there with bad habits, that same kid I was telling you, he showed me a video. He did 12 rounds sparring. I wasn't there to see it. I was like, I just started working with this guy, so I wouldn't have told him, hey, don't go sparring when I'm still kind of trying to mold you a little bit and everything. Yeah. Well, he did 12 rounds, but he filmed it on his GoPro, sends me the video, and it's like talking about. So this is the other extreme end. We're talking about boxing, how sometimes they'll follow through and they'll kill you and everything.
Yeah.
He was not even hitting the guy, and I'm like, it's like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, watch you. Every punch is thrown short. He's like this. It's like thrown just short of the punch. I'm like, dude, so again, you're making yourself worse, because it's like you're not even really sparring. You're he came from a Muay Thai gym, and I could rant on Muay Thai. I'll save that for another day.
Really?
These Muay Thai guys, they all spar with everybody. The 200-pound guy and the 100-pound girl and everything. Everybody just rotates with everybody, and they don't wear headgears and everything, so they're all just kind of playing and they're
messing around.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing, and so it's we're just going light sparring. It's better than, trust me, if you're going with someone 12 rounds taking headshots the whole time.
Yeah.
I guess I'd rather. I don't know which one I'd rather. At least that person is preparing for a fight. Whereas again, if you're not even hitting the person or you're going at such an unrealistic pace, it's like So that Muay Thai goes to the other extreme end where they don't even fight. They just play grab ass and then. And when I'm talking about like some of the gyms around here, I mean, I've seen Thai fighters, that they know how to actually train and do it productively.
For sure. Yeah, dude. I mean, like now that you're training, you move from my first question before I get into training, we look at boxing, right? You train in boxing. You're also you're training people in boxing.
Yeah.
Do you love boxing, or do you have an affinity for boxing, or not really?
Well, MMA is multiple pieces to it.
That's everything.
So, here's the thing. So when I retired from fighting, I actually wanted almost like nothing to do with it, but it's like, I'm done fighting, and again, I don't need to get hit for no reason. I actually wanted the extreme end. I wanted to grapple, because I'm like, I'm going to do
jiu-jitsu.
doing a lot of, and I still do that. That's the main training I do right now. So I was going to be doing a lot of grappling competitions, everything. You're not getting hit. Like, there's not real money in it, but it's like whatever. There's nothing, no head trauma or anything. So
we saw your Gogo Plata standing Gogo Plata
against Kevin Holland.
Against Kevin Holland, UFC Kevin Holland. Dude, before you go any further, like. You're training in jiu-jitsu. Is that something now that like you would like to do professionally, like doing these tournaments?
So particularly, so kind of like that same time period, like right after retiring from the UFC, or the UFC. You're putting words in my mouth.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's how you made me think UFC. But anyway, so when I retired that night and everything, so what happened was, we'll just make sure to circle back to get to where I guess what you originally asked me, because we're gonna go in a lot of different directions here. So when I retired, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. It's like life after fighting, but I always thought like maybe I'll open a gym, but I don't know exactly what the next step is. But I knew, I always knew, like, all right, go to practice every day. Like, this is kind of a routine for me. And especially after a fight. I mean, I didn't cut a lot of weight, but I remember, after a fight, you could kind of eat the things you weren't supposed to eat and everything. And so, even though I was retired from fighting, every time I saw, like, especially got a hard time finding fights. Anytime I saw, like, need a 205 pounder or whatever, right? Yeah. So here I am. I'm literally, have a spoonful of Nutella and everything. My fat ass is enjoying, the non-fighting and everything. And they're like, oh, I'm looking for a 205. Well, right away, my eyes, okay, like, that's just instinct. Like, I got to jump on these. And it was a grappling match. They said, we're looking for a 205-pound black belt to face this guy in a grappling match or whatever.
Are you a black belt?
Well, at the time, I just got it recently, and there was a technicality.
Congratulations.
But that's it. So technically, I was a blue belt, which is the second one. The reason why is because when I was doing MMA, like, and even still, I don't train in the gi. There's a lot of a lot of esoteric stuff. I don't necessarily want to get into right now. But pretty much a lot of politics. I was like very low in the totem pole. Right. So basically, I was like, listen, I'm not a black belt, but I'll take the match and everything. So it was like 2 weeks after my last fight and everything. So it was like a real short notice, and it was a back and forth match. I mean, he had me in trouble and everything, but then I come back and I win this match and everything. And so that's when I figured, I was like, all right, well, like, records were the big reason why I retired from MMA and everything, but grappling records don't really follow you the same. So I was like, all right, let me maybe like, let's make a shot at grappling professionally. And I realized by the end of the year that Kevin Holland may have been like the highlight of it, where I went to the ANA Invitational in Texas. Like, I didn't really get to do much traveling, like not in a plane at least, for fighting and everything. So
wow,
that was at the end of that same year and everything, end of 2018. it was actually right around the same time that I started working with Whippany Athletic as well. So everything kind of happened at the same time. But yeah, that was about the highlight of it because I won a whole bunch of matches in a row. That's what got me that match and everything. And but the thing, even then, it's like first off, the way grappling works, only the winner. They always have tournaments. Everything's like in fighting, you can't really do tournaments so much because you get hit by one guy and then you have to fight another one. So grappling, though, there's no CT or anything, there's no damage. So they always do tournaments, and only the guy who wins the tournament gets paid anything.
Right.
And even then, it's a very small. There's very little. So second place, you could go out, win, look impressive and everything. It's sometimes you got to know if you're not the man, if you're not the one who wins these big tournaments, there's no cash. Somebody still have to pay for. They didn't pay for my flight to Texas and everything. I had to pay for a hostel and everything. So it's like it was still a great experience. I'm not complaining for 1 second, but I'm just saying there's no money in grappling unless if you're the man, there's money in it. But
so it's for the love of it. You enjoy doing it.
I still do it because there's money teaching it. There's definitely money teaching it, but there's instructionals and everything, private lessons, academy obviously. There's a lot of ways to make money teaching, but as a competitor though, it's very hard to. So I feel like there was a question even before that. There was. I know we went into a lot of different directions here.
Because I look at the entertainment, bringing people into the UFC like we were talking about before with Brock Lesnar, and it's like the wow, look at the all the fan base we're gonna bring in, and now kids are like watching Jake Paul and they're like excited to box.
Yeah,
and
exactly. If it gives them a reason to be excited,
right.
I can understand why boxing fans don't like Jake Paul, but hey, if it gives them a reason, that might be the reason why they stop into Whippany boxing.
Hey,
156 Algonquin Parkway.
You want to be part of the gang?
But that might give them the reason. Like I said, they might have never otherwise watched boxing, but then hey, they're watching the YouTube star and everything. Who what is he like? Makes prank videos or something?
I don't even know.
Whatever there's, so they're they grew up 12-year-old and they fart humor or whatever. But they watch the guy and next thing you know, hey, now they're a boxing expert and everything.
Sport,
and they're saying, hey, there's a boxing gym right down the street. Let me try it out and everything. So it's still good for the sport, whether people want to admit it or not, whether they realize that or not.
It's good for the sport. It's good for the sport. But I wanted to ask, like, is it? I don't know if it's something in your future, but like, would you be interested in like pursuing boxing because it's less impact on the rest of your body?
Well, I don't know. It's impact up here.
Still,
now that I remember, that is the question. I think you were asking about my current boxing and everything. So, I was saying, so that year I did a lot of grappling. That was the main thing I wanted to focus on.
Yeah.
So my coach Carlos, the one who was talking about again, I hadn't been in that gym in over a year and everything because I was retired from fighting. So he asked me, he said that the same guy Justin. So a lot of names, I got a lot of familiar names. Justin was teaching classes for the Whippany Athletic Club.
I didn't know that.
There was some type of sparring session gone bad. I don't know the details, but they pretty much said he quit that night and everything. Whoa. So they needed a coach, to teach these classes and everything. And I almost turned it down. I was about to say no, I'm done with boxing. I don't really have interest. Plus, I lived 25 minutes from where it was at the time. So it's for a 1 hour class, it's almost not worth driving out there and everything.
Right.
The only reason why I did say I was going to do it is because kind of my plan in life after fighting, I wanted to open up an academy of some kind, like MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, whatever. I just wanted to be able to teach for a living. I invested my whole career fighting. I want to, kind of have a reason to justify going to practice every day instead of, put on a suit and work at some 9-to-5 job and everything. So, so I wanted to teach, but I didn't really know exactly how to get, my foot in the door. I remember I looked into a few places in my hometown, rent is $3,000, $4,000, whatever. It's I would have got if I had done that, I would have just lost all my savings. I had no idea what I was doing. So I figured, I almost turned it down, but then I'm like, this is a chance where I could take on clients, do one-on-one lessons and everything, and maybe it'll make sense for me to do this. And if not, nothing gained, nothing lost if it doesn't go well or anything. But at least, hey, this gives me an opportunity, rub some elbows, learn how to close sales and everything, do all the business part that I didn't know. I knew how to teach. I knew how to fight. I knew how to teach and everything. But it's I figured, okay, this is an opportunity for me to, be able to kind of expand and learn how to teach. So boxing definitely wasn't the plan, but the gym was more marketed as, it's more of a powerlifting gym than anything, but they have the ring in the back, they have the gloves. So, so just more out of marketing, people came there for
I think the culture's
boxing.
Changing, man.
And that's my plan. That's the goal for Whippany Boxing is that, particularly, I could really get into that, but the trainer, Ray, the guy who was there until summer, I always said if that guy ever left that place, the gym would go out of business. And sure enough, this summer, he decides I'm moving down the street. I'm doing my own place. Yeah. So, there's a lot that leads into that. When I was teaching, there's a lot of up and downs with, training private lessons in the beginning. I was still kind of figuring out what's a good pricing and everything, how to sell it and everything. There's times where, I was able to quit some of my other side jobs and everything. And then lost 4 clients in a row and everything. So it's there's a lot of up and down. But by the time, right when the pandemic hit, I finally started kind of get a rhythm going. I knew I had a good amount of clients. This is right when my daughter was born too, so it's kind of coincidentally And then a month later, the world shuts down and everything. Well, I should mention when I had all these clients too, my arm was all messed up from holding pads. I was holding a lot of pads and everything. So I was secretly actually rooting for it. They said, remember that the 14 days to that was a long 14 days. But so anyway, I was secretly rooting for this, to kind of
shut down,
give me a reason to take a break and everything, not cancel on a 2 dozen. I don't even remember, maybe 20 clients. Remember, I don't know how many I had. Maybe not that many at the time, but it's that didn't give me a reason to just kind of cancel all of them and give me, hey, I'm gonna take time off indefinitely. I was kind of hey, I could use a little break and everything. So I went and I didn't know unemployment was going to come around and like save everybody. So I went and found like pizza delivery jobs and grocery. That was the stuff I used to do like when I was fighting and everything. So I was working other jobs and people would message me kind of saying like, hey man, will you come to my house and train me? And me, like, again, I messed up my body from training people and everything. So I was like, I'm good right now. And especially doing the grocery delivery, there was a time period like everybody was giving me like $20 tips and everything. Like they were treating us like we were heroes and everything for braving the grocery stores during a pandemic. But then that dried up when the stimulus checks ran out, I guess. So at a certain point, then I was like, all right, you know what? Let's talk. Right? I'll come back. Plus, I missed it too. I mean, as much I always enjoy training people. I just the physical aspect, like holding pads, adds up after a while. I don't want to make anyone who does the classes think that like it's gonna happen to you. Like if you're doing it for an hour, for a few, okay. But that's the thing. I was holding pads all day long. And everything. So but that's so then afterwards, what I started doing is I started raising my prices. So these people said, hey, you want to come to my house and everything? I was like, all right, well, here's how much it is. And it's like if they said no, I was okay. I already had other jobs lined up.
You're the only show in town though. If you're driving to someone's house.
Private lessons.
Well, particularly this is during the time period the gyms were shut down and everything. So that's the thing. I mean, these people probably would have. Some of them wouldn't have otherwise hit me up, or they would have went to like one of these group fitness, like an MMA gym or something. Paid like $200 a month for like what do you call like academy and everything. Whereas like so instead, hey, they're paying me for lessons and everything. And that's the thing. I was a little bit more selective. I wasn't trying to take on a ton of people. But then especially when the gyms reopened, then it's like so I had a bunch of people. I went to their houses, spending just as much time on the road as I was training people. But that being said, then when the gyms reopened, it's like all right, then I started taking on even more and more. But around this time last year, I was so passionate. I think at my peak, I was like at 27 or 28 people.
Whoa.
And this is, and I don't, what a lot of trainers do is they go lesson by lesson. Like, hey, you're around Saturday. Oh, cool. When do you want to come in next? Like, I set people up. I tell them, hey, like, come in 2 times a week. If you're sick, you're on vacation, or let me know that stuff. That's, but otherwise, I mean, I was training everybody consistently. So you're talking about 27, let's say, 2 of them cancel. I mean, that's like a good 25, 26 hours a week and everything. But, and then, people work 40 hours a week, but behind a desk, whatever, like, I'm holding pads, I'm taking impact the whole time. So it was adding up. So I was getting the tendonitis again in my arm. And there's no pandemic that's going to say, there's no shutdown that's going to save me this time. So that's where I really wanted to, think about how can I, like, kind of scale this a little bit more? How can I stretch this? Because people are paying for me. It's like, what I was trying to do is, some of the guys, CJ, for example, my guy, Matt Passer, there's a few of them who, especially these young guys who, but why I got into sport, you ask any personal trainer why they get into, why they do that. It's like, well, I was an athlete and, I want to work with athletes. I want to make, but then it's like, look at any personal trainer, they're working with, middle-aged people who aren't motivated to work out and everything. That's what I wanted to work with fighters. I didn't want to work with the everyday people. That's what I wasn't, not that I wasn't willing to, but I really wanted to work with, again, the young up-and-coming people who want to fight and everything. So that's why I figured, okay, especially someone who's just kind of looking for a workout, okay? And this person is training for a fight. Like, this person is more than qualified, so I was trying to think maybe like I could try to send some of these everyday people who are just looking to get a workout, send them to, CJ, send them to Matt and all these guys. Every time I tried pitching that to that, it did, these guys, no, I want you. I want the expert and everything. So by creating, Whippany Boxing, it's like now it's they're not paying for me. They're paying for a logo. They're paying for, an account. So if CJ is, given a position where, he's the teacher, it's not like, oh, well, who are you? No, I'm only coming when the head instructor's
right.
He's, again, he's there. He's qualified for a reason and everything.
Yeah, Liz is there.
Exactly. We have Liz, exactly. So that's why, I wanted to create something, I guess, like bigger than myself because as much as I love training people, it's like I physically can't take on everybody and everything to give people the one-on-one attention and everything. So yes, I mean the thing is, and I resisted I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do it because on one end, it's like part of the reason why I was as busy as I was during that time period. People didn't have a group class as an alternative, everything. So it's like that. I kind of thought about, hey, maybe should I do something like this? Well, it's a lot of extra work, ultimately to create my own competition. So it's like, am I shooting myself in the foot by doing this? But around the time when Ray left, it was just like all the signs were pointing at me. It's like, listen, this gym might go under otherwise. And it's like, hey, the gym's pretty much empty. So it's also my chance to kind of rebrand it and everything. And and so I mean, I don't. It's very early on and everything, but right now I have a lot more. Work on my plate, I guess, like a lot more, following up with people and doing, I'm not just I'm a boxing coach is like the least of what I do. I'm the marketer, I'm the sales guy, I'm the, I'm the accountant, I'm everything, I'm doing every piece of the business. And at least right now, again, a few months into like, for way less pay than I was making, so, but I expected that. I didn't go into this thinking it was going to be easy, even though I'll still say I've underestimated how much goes into this, that, little things that people, of any profession, you guys think that, hey, you're going in this to do podcasting. Next thing you know, you got all these licensing and all this, all sorts of stuff you didn't even anticipate that you didn't know, what you had to do and everything. So I didn't think it was going to be easy, but I mean, this is, a lot goes into this. And
it's your own LLC, man.
Exactly. Like, especially right now with, the holidays coming up. It's like New Year's is coming up. And every day I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Like, I need to do more marketing. It's a lot of waiting on people. A lot of, we waited like a month for my friend to get up a website. And then, I'm not going to go into it. It wasn't, I'm just going to say, it's like, I'm waiting on other people. Hey, I want someone to make a landing page and waiting on this person. So it's like, I would like to be in a very different spot right now. A few weeks before New Year's. And, but that's right now being a one-man operation. I mean, one man as far as like running running the business, but like
Right.
you know, CJ, Liz, Nico, these guys, like they're huge helps and everything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But yeah, there's just a lot of components to it. So
I get it.
teaching boxing is just a small piece of it.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I started a production company. All I've ever done is act in films and stuff, and starting a production company, owning an LLC, dude. I didn't know what it would take. It takes so much.
Yeah,
man.
There's so much involved.
Well, the LLC wasn't too much. That's the thing. You have to file for it and everything. And I remember, like, you know, I filed with Chase Bank and everything.
Yeah.
And they had like some promotion where you have like, you know, a certain amount of money in your account and everything, and you have 5 transactions. It's like a $300 bonus. So I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I paid for the LLC and everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the thing. But so much. See, it doesn't matter if you're a part-time operation, you're a full-time. Like a website costs what it costs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Advertising costs what it. You know,
There's
if you want to get the
necessary
algorithm.
costs.
So,
Yeah.
so that's just say even though like the original plan was I was still going to do my lessons. I have no expectations I'm going to make crazy money doing this in the short term. I still do my private lessons because that's what's paying my bills right now. Everything I make through the business, I'm trying to reinvest in. I want to be able to put more ads out there, but again, if we don't have a website, you know, then it's like you can't put out ads and everything just to, you know, Google gives you like a $500 ad credit. You know, I take advantage of these credits. You know, if a credit card's going to give you a $300 bonus, or Google gives you a $300 ad credit, but again, like website's got to be there. Everything, the landing pages have to be there, so it's waiting on other people. But yeah. So especially right now, right before New Year's. You know, I'd like to be a lot busier, but we're still early days.
For sure, man.
I got to remind myself that I'm still up at night and everything, worried and stressing about it. Even sometimes, even just like, I don't know if it's worried, but like, you know, good. I'm thinking about something optimistic or whatever, but I can't sleep at night because I'm thinking about it all the time. Right now, I've put a lot more on my plate doing this, but you know, again, in the short term, again, it's maybe like you could say it's not worth in the short term, but you know, I have a long-term vision for this place. Because we're talking about the culture of the gym. I mean, right now it's pretty empty. So pour some advertising, get classes going. I like to have, you know, so many classes going that this place becomes a boxing gym first and powerlifting becomes the side piece instead of the other way around. Right now it's more of a powerlifting gym, and there's a handful of boxers depending on what time you get there.
Yeah, I mean, I see that it's going to start happening. I have that feeling. And dude, I mean, watching now, when I go in there, bro, and your classes are going on, it's like it's beautiful. It's a full classroom. Everyone's really excited to be doing what they're doing. What I've been seeing is
that's the thing. There's times where it's like, oh, classes are full.
Yeah,
maybe I should slow down. Like, you know, I don't want to have overcapacity and everything.
Yeah.
But then like some of the night classes, the morning, like everybody. This is the thing. People tell me all the time, like, oh, you know, like at 6:30, people cut there at 7:30. Like, oh, if you had a later class, I would go to it.
Yeah.
So we make a later class, and it's like, you know, crickets. Same thing, like, all these people saying, hey, if you made a class like 6 a.m. or something, I mean, we're like a week into that one, so I'm more optimistic. And we might change it to 6:30. There's no time that pleases everybody. So it might, you know, if 6:30 is a more popular time, I'm willing to do a 4 a.m. class if people, not me personally, but I'll hire someone to do it. Like, if people want a midnight class, I don't care, whatever. Just tell me you guys want, if people want to go to it. And
make it work.
It's, you know, again, it pays for the instructor. It's like, it's worth it. But right now, some of these, you know, again, people tell me all day long, oh, if you made a morning class and then they don't do it. So it's like, I remember one time, like early on, we started off with 3 days a week. I don't want to overstretch, and I wanted those 3 classes to get packed first, right? And so then I remember making a poll, like saying, you know, which classes should we add next? Should we add like a 6 a.m., a 9 a.m., a 12 p.m.? And some guy was like telling me like in detail about like, well, people aren't around at 9 o'clock and nobody's around at noon and everything. So you got to make a 6 a.m. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you interested? And he's like, oh, no, I was just telling you when people are around. Like, all right, thanks. Like, you say that, but you know, hey, there's people who work from home. So we have a noon class, for example. It's not the most popular class, but it's so far it's more popular than that 6 a.m. class that he insisted is, you know, hey, like nobody's around at noon. Again, more people are around at noon right now than it's early on. I'm expecting 6 a.m. could be a big class
for sure,
and it might turn to 6:30 or whatever if it's more popular.
You can't make everyone happy, man. You can't please everybody.
Back when the Whipping Athletic Club did it, they had a 6. Well, actually, they had like a 6:15. And again, I'm not usually up at that hour. So the thing is, this is right when I found out I was having a kid. So it's like they offered me this class. I'm like, well, I can't turn down money. So I was like, can we make it 6:30? And the thing is, so it did 6:30 class, and all these people had to dip out to drop their kids off from school and everything. So that's why I said, okay, let's do a 6 a.m. because if you know. If ending at 7:30 is too late and everything, but there's no time that pleases everybody. So here we are at 6 a.m. and just the other day, someone was saying, "Oh, can you make it 6:30?" I'm like, I think there's a guy. He's asking, "Can you make like a 4 in the afternoon?" And I told him, I'd be willing, but I don't think that's a popular time. If there's a demand for it, I will, but I don't. And not a lot of people are. Yeah, exactly. I mean, some people. He's a teacher, so that's why it makes sense. He's out of that time, but. That's to say, you got to go with the popular. Like, that's the thing. One-on-one lessons, I could train someone at 4 o'clock. Like 4 o'clock actually is one of my busier times. I train, you know, college kids and everything. Like people, there are people who are around at 4 o'clock. I'm training people any hours. That's one of the easier things about private lessons is, you know, hey, well, I talk to the person. Why are you doing this? What makes you interested in it? Then we get into the scheduling, and it's like, so again, as long as they're available at a time that I'm available, which I have a pretty, and this is my full-time job. This is, you know, so I'm pretty available. I can train someone. So it's like, but that's the thing about classes. You have to go with the population. It's not just what does that one individual want. It's what does everybody want.
Dude, I this is something that's been on my mind. You right now, if you wanted, could murder me and Mike in this room.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have
Well, you guys are cool, so I won't.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. But like you have the ability to do that if you felt like it, which is crazy to think about. But if there was no rules, if there's no laws, we don't have brains anymore, and it's just an all out war. That's what's gonna happen.
Like if the purge happened.
Me and you are dead. Me and you, Mikey, are dead.
I have a big appetite. So you guys might be in trouble.
So like I get this insecurity, man. Sometimes I'm out with my wife and like at a bar or out at a restaurant or something, and guys are being guys, or like I'm and also me being me, I get insecure, or I'm like, could I dismember this dude can I like dismantle this threat if I needed to? My brain thinks like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you think like that ever? Or are you like, I'm so secure knowing I can murder everyone? Well, most people.
That's the thing. The people who want to pick a bar fight, the people who want to, start something in the party, whatever. Like those are people who they're insecure. I mean, think about even going back to kids, right? Like the bullies are the ones who they're getting abused at home and everything. It's everything kind of trickles down. Whereas that's one thing about martial arts is that parents sometimes are afraid, hey, is my kid gonna, am I gonna kind of make him a, more lethal bully and everything? The thing is, when you're in the ring, whether in the ring, being tested and everything, or just sometimes in the classroom, you realize there's always a bigger fish first off. It's like, you, as much as you say that about me, again, there's plenty of people out there who can kick my ass and everything. There's levels to this game. That's what I'm trying to say. So, number one, if you're training at the right place, you're going to realize you're not the biggest and best, but there's always someone out there better. So when you really train, the thing is also you don't need to just kind of let that energy. You don't need to just pick a fight with someone to feel good about yourself and everything. So I could relate. Like when I was in high school, I remember I was like, I wish I was never going to start a fight, but I was like, I wish someone would try, right? So the closest it ever came to this was. This was my senior year, and I only just began training. I don't even know if people knew that necessarily, but there was this Muslim kid getting picked out. He was kind of a weird kid, but he sat with us in the lunch and everything. We talked to him a little bit, and so these bullies, sometimes they would pick on him, but it was verbal. And in retrospect, maybe I probably should have stepped in sooner, but I always kept an eye on it. It's it was verbal, but whatever. I can't really beat someone up for calling him a terrorist or whatever they were doing. So this one day, particularly though. He's wearing a white shirt, and they have a permanent marker, and they're drawing on the kid and everything. So the kid kicks him, and I could see the look in his eyes, and he's kind of one of those I wish I didn't no, please, I take it back. And so I got in the guy's face and everything, and he goes and pushes me a little bit, and then he looks to his friends, and his friends give him this look no, we're not getting involved with that. And it's so I was kind of disappointed. I was so they all, and the thing is these guys are all my size and bigger and everything too. I know I'm a big guy. That's one thing is you're a big guy too, so we don't get messed with as much because just people are already kind of physically. We're
we're dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah. So
we're dangerous.
But that's what I'm saying. But I don't necessarily know that they knew MMA. I mean, I wrestled. I don't necessarily know that they knew I had MMA training, but easily they had, and I didn't have much at the time. It's not like I was, I was still kind of learning at the time. But I mean, if there's 3, 4, or 5 of those guys, they could have ganged up on me. And even then I was come on, let's go. Let's turn this into a Steven Seagal movie.
You never had that issue outside in the world.
Well, nobody really messed with me.
No one messed with me.
Not physically. Now, here's that. I mean, people picked on me. Well, people picked on me, but
wow.
But that's the thing is, and sometimes, especially in school, it was worse because, people. I wasn't a good student, so people would always say things I like my burgers without pickles and stuff like that. Because when I see at McDonald's later in life, and they always say shit like that and everything, but it's I can't beat someone up with that. So I remember I was in woodshop my senior year, and there was this freshman kid. It would sound freshman kid's messing with the senior who's But the thing is, he would always he'd be hey, he hit me or something, and the teacher would come around what are you doing? And he would always cry. Well, he'd take my homework before the bell rang and everything. So it's kind of it's again, I can't really what can I do? What am I going to beat up some freshman kid? But one day actually. So I used to have this line. I was the captain of the wrestling team and everything. And I always tell people I'm going to show you my pimp hand or whatever. Right? Well, this one day, just kind of joking, I was I'm going to show you my pimp hand. I had to just kind of follow through. I didn't really mean to hit him, right?
Oh no.
And then he turns around. He's I'm bleeding and everything. And I'm thinking, he's just crying wolf like he always does. But so I'm whatever. Just give me my books back. He hands him right over. I'm he never. Then he pulls back. He's dripping blood. I'm oh shit, I actually did hit him.
You hit him.
And so then sure enough, then I didn't mean to hit him hard, but it was just enough. And then the teacher comes over and he goes around saying you can't go around smacking freshman kids or you can't be showing your pimp hands and everything. So surprisingly, I didn't get detention for that. But either way, kids would mess with me this freshman kid, this other kid who was a senior, the same age and everything, but he used to always mess with me and always just kind of say, oh, you're going nowhere, kind of. Wow. It's what am I gonna just have to take? That's the thing. I didn't know how to. I can't physically beat him up and everything, but yeah,
that's crazy.
I think also like you were talking about how when you're sparring in gyms and stuff, it's not about knocking people out. I think with athletic sports and stuff, I think the discipline's super important. You realize what you can do, so you don't, you used to see red,
Yeah, I still do.
But I feel like learning to fight and knowing how you can take care of a situation, can.
And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about like parents, again, they're always afraid, hey, is my kid going to be a bully? Now, well, it's like the other way around because they learn discipline. They learn, they learn to listen to the teacher. They learn to respect the teacher, number one. So, again, those kids don't become the bullies. They, they let their energy out. If any type of insecurities, like, even if it's hitting the pads or whatever, right? They're hitting a 1-2 and like, oh, man, you look like a pro now. Like, that still goes to their head. That's still, and I'm not necessarily blowing smoke up there. I do like, hey, man, you're looking good or everything. But again, they look at that as confidence. Like, hey, man, I feel like a pro. I feel like, I can handle myself out there. So even though, kids martial arts, it's not, kids martial arts, not that we have them sparring so much, but like they still do feel like, hey, if a bully ever got in their face, I told them, hey, man, you look like a pro out there. They do feel like, hey, man, I can, I could stand up to that bully. They're the ones who might stand up to that person who's getting bullied or something. So that's the thing. Martial arts never really makes someone a better bully. That's always kind of the fear of the misconception, but it's the other way around because. Again, if you are that bully and you get humbled, I mean, especially when it comes to anything content, like sparring, grappling, anything like that. It's like, again, you really we're talking about, hey, this guy, he wasn't malicious or anything, but the guy you were talking about in the beginning of this, he's swinging at me. I'm like, hey, dude, calm down. It's like, dude, I'll give you a good. Bert is the same way. He loves to give people a body shot.
Bert, the liver shot.
But that's what I'm saying. So you just give him a good body shot and grappling again. Like you could kind of again tap someone out a few times again, kind of I don't say bruise their ego, but you could put them in check basically. That's what I'm trying to say. You could like let them know, hey, listen, man, there's a certain way we go about doing things.
Right.
Like, learn some, and then again, you learn through the school of hard knocks. You learn the hard way. So again, when it comes to kids martial arts, for example, like kids boxing, again, it's not that you beat them up necessarily, but it might be just, hey, we play a game at the end. It's like, hey, if someone's not listening, then hey, man, you sit out that game at the end or something. Look, I said the kids we've had them for about a month, so they're pretty disciplined. They're not, I haven't had any of those problems, but I've worked with younger kids and everything. I've worked with, that's the thing. Sometimes, hey, listen, you take away the game from them at the end, but again, they learn discipline. They learn to stop talking while the teacher's talking and everything, and at the end of the day, it translates outside of just the room. It's not about just, hey, like when parents bring their kids there, it's not about just hey, make them a better boxer. It's like the idea is that they're better in the classroom, they're better at home, they listen out. And the other thing too is like, and it goes for any age, especially younger kids. Like, they're telling mom and dad, hey, I want to box and everything, and they're saying, oh, your grades aren't very good. Well, again, if they want to box bad enough, they're gonna start getting that. They're gonna study more. They're gonna I'll clean my room. I'll do my homework, whatever. So it's like the idea is that the benefits you get in the boxing, especially the kids classes, like the idea is that it translates in the classroom, it translates at home and everything. So that's parents. I tell you, they're worried. I don't want to throw them off a little CTE talk we said in the beginning. Again, the kids. First of all the classes, including the adult classes, there's no contact. It's more of a fitness workout and everything. But again, we do teach that practical application and everything. So again, that's why number one, they're more comfortable. Hey, if a bully ever got in their face, I told them they look like a pro and they have the confidence and everything. Their self-esteem goes up and everything. They're listening to the teacher and everything. But so the idea is it just makes them a well-rounded human being.
Yeah, man.
So, I was talking about this at the beginning, how like when I got in the sport, I really wanted to work with fighters. I really wanted to work with people who wanted to get in the ring. In the beginning, I didn't really want to work with everyday, accountant, lawyers, and everything. Now I did because they have the money to pay you and everything. But the more I've done this and everything, I realized that. I always thought the reason why it's not like I have a problem with it or anything. It's just more, I feel like it's almost like I'm overqualified or something. I could be helping the fighter more than I could help anybody could get your work, kind of thing. But the more I realize this is like the everyday person, okay, they might not have any aspirations to get in the ring. They have a professional job and everything, but they still benefit. Whether the weight loss, especially with the pandemic, how many people lost their minds staying at home and everything. Whether it be weight loss, whether it be mental clarity, confidence. I mean, all that stuff that if it benefits the everyday person just the same, it's like that's almost like a misconception on man when I was saying, hey, like I really only have something to offer the fighters, or I shouldn't be like helping people with cardio. Like that's one thing about like the classes is like. Again, they're non-contact, so anybody who's like afraid, I got a job to go to, like, don't worry, you're not going to get hit and everything. If you want to spar, we'll talk and we'll, we can line that up and everything. But these classes get people in great shape and everything. They again, their mental health, all this kind of stuff. Everything gets better in their life. It's not about just it might be 1 hour in the room, but the idea is that then you go to work the next day. I think about this week, for example, one of my main training partners, he's away in Florida, and it's like when I don't get to train, I'm real grumpy and everything. I'm real like you can ask my girlfriend that. Like I'm real pissy at home and everything. Training makes, but again, it's one of those things.
Don't mess with him.
But it's funny. So yesterday, I got a good training session in. It's like. I'm in a great mood now. That's what I say. So training does so much more than just again, like it's not about just learning jabs and crosses and everything. It's again, it gets you in a better mental state. It increases your confidence. You talk about your insecurities and everything. How long have you trained though?
Now a year.
Okay, so that's the thing. Like you still just began this sport.
Well, man, I'll tell you to be honest. Like my insecurities shrink, and I feel myself being more confident in myself. I feel more empathy for other people. I don't want any trouble.
Exactly what we're talking about. That's what I'm saying. You're not trying to hurt. Exactly. You're not trying to pick a fight, number one. But the other thing is, again, everybody starts, again, if you're doing a fitness class, again, maybe you have no aspirations of ever getting in the ring. But when you get in the ring for the first time, you suck. It feels like, at first it feels like a foreign environment and everything.
Yeah.
You're talking about grappling. I mean, day one, you get tapped out left and right. But the idea is that, okay, then you get tapped out a little bit less. Next thing you know, you start as the nail, and then you become the hammer over time and everything.
Whoa,
and that's what I'm saying. There's always a bigger one out there. So even to this day, there's people out there that could tap me out left, and maybe not as many, but it's at least allowed to put up a fight, I guess. But that's the idea. I mean, like, after doing it for 10 years, it's like, I know against the general population, a good 99% of people, like, I can handle myself against most people, but again, that came with a decade of training and everything. So again, you start off right now. Again, maybe you're a little insecure, but again, over time, the more you do this, that's kind of what I was saying back in the day when I was 22, and I'll be willing to fight a guy with a name like Azamar Mirzakhanov because again, I'm training, I'm kicking people's ass in training.
You're the hammer.
That's what I'm saying. When you're the hammer, you feel like you could take on anyone. You could feel like you could take on some unknown Russian fighters from parts unknown.
From Dagestan.
Exactly. So, but that's what I'm saying. So it comes with time. So again, sometimes even then you got put in check. I got put in check that night. But that's the thing. You have this. You gain confidence. That's what I'm saying. So even if you're an accountant, even if you're a lawyer, even if you're a student, whatever it is, like you have no aspirations of fighting.
Bro.
Again, you go in and it doesn't have to be. You sparred once. I know. I've seen you spar once. Have you sparred again? Or?
Yeah, I sparred outside the gym. I haven't sparred in the gym.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like what I'm getting is you don't have to do a whole lot of sparring. That's what I'm saying. It's not all about just like, hey, you have to get in the ring and physically beat someone up who's resisting. It's like, again, even just knowing.
It's this, man. It's my mind. I realized, like, my mental toughness was like, I was so fragile. Mm-hmm. And then you test yourself like that, and you realize you get beat or whatever, you get pushed around a little bit or hit a few times, and you're like, okay, I train a little bit harder this week. I use my mind as I'm working, and I pay the pain price of training, which it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to face yourself and say, exactly, this is where I break. Okay, this is who I am right now.
But that's the thing. It's not a permanent state.
No.
Like when you start off, I've talked to, especially the parents sometimes, they'll be like, hey, you ever want to do an adult class and everything? They're like, oh, no, I'm too much of a wimp. I'm too fragile. Especially women say that all the time. The moms, they'll say, oh, I'm too fragile, right? Well, it's like, maybe right now, you don't have to be that way.
But you don't stay there.
And that's the thing is like, some people, maybe they're afraid they're going to go in the ring the first day. They're going to beat up. Or like, no, listen, you're only in competition with yourself, number one. It's like,
totally.
If you want to compete, sure, there's a person on the other side of the ring trying to take your head off and everything. But right now, again, for classes, you're competing with yourself. The idea is that being better than yourself, it takes time. You're not going to see results on day one, but especially day one sometimes can be very frustrating. It's learning 1, 2, 3s and jack. Am I doing this right? Then you got to hold pads. It's like it can be a little bit frustrating. So anybody who get past that point, again, a month, 2 months, 3 months, like you start seeing some progress. You're not going to turn into Loma in a month or two. But again, the idea is that hey, after a few months, you start feeling more and more. You're working towards something, and
absolutely, man.
That's when you become stronger. You start you started as a wimp. I think that SpongeBob clip, he was like, I was a wimp. Look at now I'm a jerk.
Yep.
Dude, we got to get Mikey in there.
Dude, I honestly,
Let's
man,
get you
more and more.
We're gonna get you the shirt. You got to get in the club.
I think I'm gonna start, dude.
I took a class, man. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I think I might start.
Where do you? Well, obviously, you've never. It's a half hour away, so
I drive a half hour now. I mean, it's worth it.
Drive with them then if you guys are close.
I think I'm down.
Yeah.
You want to
get in schedule, or we got plenty of class time.
See, see.
Because, just the old gym doesn't really do it for me.
No, I think you would love boxing, man.
Yeah,
I tell you that all the time.
And see, that's the idea that, like, when people come there a lot of times, oh, I'm not a fighter or whatever. And that's the thing, like, this is just basic sales. I always like to say, hey, why are you here? And everything. Why is he interested in boxing? The amount of people that they kid themselves, hey, New Year's is coming up. I'm gonna go to Planet Fitness. Oh, it's only $20 a month, right? Well, $20 a month, and there's cancellation fees. Then you end up being a member there for a year. So you spend $240, got nothing out of it. So we'd rather pay $240, and get nothing out of it than again, we're not. We're cheaper than like an MMA gym. MMA gyms go for like $200. I'm not gonna say our price out loud, but it's not that expensive and everything. But that's why I like to find out, hey, why are you here? Well, I've tried Planet Fitness, I've tried F45s and max challenges, all these kind of things, and I just wasn't motivated to jump on boxes and throw medicine balls. Right? But something about there's some reason why you called here, because something about putting on a pair of gloves and hitting something. Actually, it makes you think that, hey, I can do this. And,
totally.
Yeah.
There's gift cards available right now. If you guys are interested for the holidays, gift cards are available.
They are, hit up Whippity Boxing,
Yep. That's on Instagram.
1 month, 6 month, or 5 class pack.
Ooh.
Or you could just stand up regularly as well. So
that might be a little Christmas gift I get for you, actually.
Hey, man. I'm down.
I've made these little like golden ticket cards and everything. But the thing is, like, I went to the dollar store, spray painted them, and my girlfriend has this like thing. I should have bought a lot more. The dollar stores ran out of those pieces of wood. So,
no.
That's it, because I want to have something tangible. It's like it's a little corny, but like Willy Wonka style golden ticket. 6 weeks of training. But so that's one of our goals for today. We're gonna go try another dollar store or whatever, see if we can find blocks of wood and everything, make more of this stuff. So at least a few people have bought. A few people bought the 6-week one, which is the one I probably want to sell more. Then we have bundles and packages as well, where we have like some gloves and we have the t-shirts and everything. So stuff like that, where it's like just again, it's about the presentation. It's like you just say, hey, let's just come by and we'll take your word for it. No, we want to give them something to put under the tree and everything.
For sure, that's a great idea.
These little tickets, it's a great idea. That's the thing. It's just all this stuff takes time. That's what I'm getting at. It's like I want to promote them more, but again, we ran into these blocks of wood and everything. So again, it shouldn't stop. At the end of the day, if someone wants to do it, we'll find something.
Man.
We have to get like an acrylic bar. That's something that we want to look nice. That's the thing. But at the end of the day, it's you cash it in anyway. So hopefully we'll find some more of those blocks of wood and make some more later today. Actually, so
awesome, dude. Well, before we get you out of here. The Kevin Holland go plot to stand.
Yeah.
Okay. Was he talking shit?
Oh yeah. Well, he was sort of an unranked fighter. Number one, I got into this promotion whatever. Like I was by far the guy the least qualified to be there and everything. Like
really,
because these were a lot of like high level grappling competitors and everything. Yeah. And like I said, they had like at least Kevin Holland was one active UFC fighter, and then there's this guy Bubba McDaniel who was like an ex UFC fighter. But pretty much, I had no name. It's like the reason why I got into that was because are you pulling it up? Okay.
Hold on, Kevin.
I'll
pull up the short. Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah.
Find it.
We got to search my name for that, but
we were just watching it.
I just had it.
Anyway, I'm losing my track. What I was gonna say, so the only reason I got into that, so one of my main training partners at the time, this guy John Blank, they call him Thor. He's like a really high level grappler. He had just won like the combat jiu-jitsu.
Did you have a nickname, Alec?
Nah.
Oh,
I'm not
man.
I barely came up with a name here. This is the most uncreative name. I'm not good at
boxing.
Yeah. So But anyway, I'm getting distracted with those. Anyway,
no, it's okay.
He's still scrolling. No, I was gonna say so the only reason I got into that, they wanted Thor to be part of the scroll up. I just saw it. That one right there. So the only reason I got into it was, and you can mute the commentary. The commentary is awful, by the way. So, so you got it. Oh, you got it up.
Look at you pulling him in.
Yeah.
Are you talking shit to him too?
Yeah, I went a little back and forth with him. So.
Hey, pause it real quick so you can talk.
Yeah.
The guy in the orange, by the way, that's Eddie Bravo. So
Eddie Bravo.
The stuff that I'm doing right here. So there's a lot of esoteric terminology here, but it's called rubber guard, where it's very like you have to be flexible, which big guys are not used to. You see this a little bit at like lighter weights. You definitely don't see big guys doing this, but so I put him in this. He stands up and I have him fully locked down. I don't know Eddie Bravo at this point, but he's actually coaching me. He's like saying like put your arm behind the knee and everything. Yeah, so. So anyway, we didn't know what to do here. So the referee literally told him to run in a bounce. Like some tournaments you actually get DQ'd for that. If you're caught in an active submission and then you walked out of that, they count that as like, oh well, you would have had to and everything. So that's it. You hear him talking to him, and the referee's like, I don't know, just run out of bounds, I guess.
Run out of bounds.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, what?
The whole match is up there if you want to pull up some of that. Like, because what I was gonna say. Yeah, no, like I said, I didn't belong there in any way, but it's like, so you have these high-level grapplers here. You probably have to search just
Alec Hooben
maybe
and Kevin Holland.
No, that's a different Kevin. Just scroll up to the bar. Just type my name because it's not under my channel. Maybe I should post it on their channel. Hopefully, Anna doesn't get mad at me.
Kevin Holland.
Yeah, especially now that I'm monetized, maybe that would give me some views and give me some.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so that's the full match.
Yeah, go subscribe to his page right now if you're listening. Go subscribe to Alex.
So real quick, you'll see right off the bat. So before you do any type of fast forward, right? So see how it says blue belt there. I remember I was saying like I was technically a blue belt, which is again the second rank in there, but partially you could hit play at this point. I was just saying that. Yeah, so 10th Planet Bethlehem, I was representing that gym because
10th Planet,
yeah, well, in Bethlehem, exactly. That was like an hour away. I used to travel a lot more before I had a kid and everything. I would travel a lot to get matches and everything. Yeah, this was in Texas, so this is the only time I really competed at all to do any grappling. So.
Is that a Marine Corps sweater?
Yeah, but I didn't have any sponsor, so I was like, screw it, whatever.
Let's go.
Even though it was Texas, right? So I'm thinking, all right, cool, I could dress warm. Yeah. And then it was like raining, it was cold out and everything. So I brought that like if I needed to cut weight, and I was like, I was like, yeah, I didn't have any sponsor, so I'm like, all right, might as well rep the Marine Corps, I guess. Dang. So
that must feel crazy walking out like that, man.
Insane.
I'll say this as much as you say like this is nothing compared to a cage fight. Like there's a different adrenaline. Like when someone actually has gloves and is trying to take your head off. This again, it's grappling. It's like this was the bigger leagues. I'm not gonna say I had no nerves or anything, but
Kevin Holland's a monster. Kevin Holland's a scary guy.
Another thing, so he didn't really have. He was an undercard fighter at the time. He was like maybe like 2-1 in the UFC or something. Like so this last year, for folks listening, this 2021 right now that we're doing this. 2020, he was arguably the fighter of the year. He went 5-0. Yeah. It was about this time last year. I think he knocked out Jacare. Like,
that's right.
To go 5-0. Like so. Nowadays everyone knows the name Kevin Holland. He was just kind of another UFC fighter. So what I was saying though is that again, like, none of these guys had names. So I was like, can I face this grappler who's obviously really high level, might tap me real quick, or I want to fight the UFC fighter because the UFC guy at least like I have a way better chance against him, and everybody knows what a UFC fighter is, so
Right.
that is the biggest upside, and I guess the most. See he's like looking off the camera.
Yeah, it's
that's
awesome.
right. I was thrown off again. I didn't know who Kevin Holland was. I didn't know this was like what he's known for, I guess. But yeah, he's just
what is he doing?
He's clowning. I don't even know if he took this match serious at all. He's just clowning around.
Wow.
And, my wrestling's atrocious, by the way. So there's times where I feel like I could wrestle. Nowadays I feel like I'm able to wrestle a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I definitely. This is embarrassing for me to watch, I guess.
We don't gotta watch.
No, I say I'm a lot better than this 3 years ago. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, my wrestling's gotten better as time it goes.
Well, it's amazing you're on that platform 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a big platform.
Yeah, exactly. This was the biggest platform in grappling, at least I ever competed in. Because, like I said, there was my friend that was really supposed to get the matchup, and I was going to say, so Thor was the one who was invited to it,
Right?
And so at this point, this is where the grappling starts, I guess. Sort of, yeah. But so Thor was the one who was supposed to get the matchup, and he pretty much because the thing they never have 205 opportunities for anybody.
Yeah.
So he was like 205 like that's Hooben's weight class. So he actually deferred for me, and he turned down this opportunity. He probably would have won the whole thing pretty easily. Like
what is he? Is he saying anything?
Is he just watching TV, dude?
What's he doing? I remember exactly what. So I'm going for this leg lock, and he's clowning. He's going I didn't read the rules. Are you guys allowed to leg lock? Because some places you're not allowed to leg lock and everything. So this whole time he just clowned. I don't even know if he was actually planning on fighting back.
Come on.
So this is one of my better attacks right here at ankle lock, but the way he's catching my left leg is kind of shutting this down a little bit. So yeah, well, it just wasn't. I need to slide that arm back a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, he's just clowning. Yeah, he was chewing gum and everything. I remember just like
that's kind of I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Man.
But that's Kevin Holland though. That's
his brand, man.
So that's this. I can see right now. Yeah, you see his demeanor change a little bit. But that's it. Now he's laughing at it. But a minute ago though, you saw the look of it, like, oh shit, I gotta fight out of this now. So but yeah, now he's joking. He's talking to the crowd and everything.
Unbelievable.
That's probably where Eddie Bravo was because he's talking to Eddie a lot during this.
What does that do?
So that right there, he tried to counter with the toe hold right here. So he's trying to. That's the thing. He's trying to 1 minute pretend. Oh, I'm not taking this seriously, and then that's what I'm saying. And then he attacked the submission. So so here I am. This is again stuff I'm known to do.
Here it is.
People don't expect this from a 205 pounder.
No, this is crazy. This is kind of
believe it or not. This is people would say, oh, this is like this is like throwing a hook shot in basketball. Or so this is one of those like it's too fancy to be practical. But I've made it actually one of my better attacks and everything.
Wow, the flexibility you have is insane, dude.
Well,
my thigh would snap.
Well, so I teach a lot of jiu-jitsu privates, and the big thing is like I've got guys I'm teaching rubber guard to now. And it's like. You don't have to be nearly as flexible as people think you have to be. So I tell one of the older guys I was training recently, it's like, he's saying, oh man, I don't know if I'm built for that. Like, he's doing it just fine. I'm like, dude, don't doubt your, trust me, you don't have to be as flexible as you think you have to be to do this and everything. So. Man.
This is
the referee told him, I haven't watched this probably in at least a year.
He steps out of bounds.
Yeah, so the referee told him to do that. So,
what?
And then it was even weirder because then it's like I was thinking, all right, we're going to start us back in the go.
Yeah, what's the deal?
So then they're just kind of like, well, just go, I guess. Like,
what?
So that's where there's a little bit of like talking, like, all right, we're resetting the position. He's like, nah, just go, whatever. So
just go.
So that's what's going on here? Like, so I'm like, do I have under? Do I have the go? Whatever, fine. Like, so I'm like, whatever, just go then.
Huh?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is real informal then. Yeah, so this is like a pummel. We're not just hugging each other, like but.
It's so weird. They just like spit.
It's a weird sport to explain to people who don't do it, I guess. Yeah. So he just pulled guard.
It's just so complicated. Like there's so many.
So he pulls guard.
Yeah. Well,
dude, this is you have to explain to the average viewer. This is
that's why I'm teaching boxing is a lot simpler, right? You throw a left hand, you throw a right hand.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, everybody always asks when are you going to teach jiu-jitsu and everything. Like I teach jiu-jitsu privates, but
look at him laughing. Look at him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's like exactly. He's saying pretty much there's nothing on that. Oh, you're like it's a joke. That's what I'm saying. But like this actually what got me in trouble at the end of it because like I started going tit for tat from him a little bit too. Yeah, I started kind of baiting him, and that's actually how he got me in the overtime.
Oh shit!
So spoiler for how this goes, I guess. But,
oh no.
But that's the thing is like like if you actually score this match. So this is another weird thing that this is called sub only right now. So there's no scorer going on right now.
Right.
Some grappling tournaments, it's like, oh, you get points for a takedown, you get points for a pass. And
this is just submission.
So they call it sub only. So the guy Eddie Bravo, the one who's in the audience there, he's the one who kind of invented it. And the reasoning, the idea behind it is like, oh, well, it's like imagine I say, hey, it's knockout only, right? And it's like, I don't know how Loma won. Let's say he won by decision. He outschools the guy didn't hit him all the time. Well, it's like, no, you didn't knock him out, so it's a draw right now, right? And then you go like punch for punch. Like, so they do something at the end where it's like you literally get put in like a position where.
Really?
So you'll kind of see at the end, but that's like, again, just imagine in boxing. Imagine, say I'm going for a leg again, but imagine they did something like that where, okay, Loma dominated him and, he, whatever, and, yeah, I remember Eddie was pretty much saying, he's like, bro, focus on your leg or whatever, because Kevin's trying to talk to him. So. Yeah, this right here, a heel hook is that's one of those submissions. If you don't tap to it, that can inflict damage real quick. But same thing, he's going for that counter toe hold again. But I mean, I turn it into a sweep. So that's what I'm saying, and I'm turning into another leg lock. I guess.
Wow.
But that's the thing. It's like you.
How tired are you in this?
I used a lot of energy, so more tired than I would be for other matches.
Going for a submission.
But this is one thing I was gonna say actually. So you don't necessarily have to rewind it, but I was gonna say a minute ago. Like the reason why I dropped for a leg lock instead of getting on top of him, kind of goes to what I was saying. It's like if it was points, if I got on top, like I would have got there would have been a reward for that.
Yeah.
Whereas instead, it's like sub only means like you're gonna basically make different decisions instead of like trying to not. And the idea is you don't want someone coasting. You don't want someone just kind of hanging out there on top. So right now, actually, he'd be getting points for this right now. Again, part of the reason why I let this happen as easily as it did, it doesn't matter. It's like the score right now is 0-0.
He can be on top. It doesn't matter.
Let's just say it doesn't matter. Like so he's going for something called a key lock right now. But let's just say like, but generally speaking, again, it's like score. Since the score doesn't matter, again, you might make decisions you don't make because again, it's like if doesn't matter about throwing jabs and everything. If it's a knockout only, you're just going to swing down and bite and throw nothing but haymakers, pretty much, right? So so that's some of these he had to respect. So this one I think coming up, I think this one I turn into it's called a calf slicer, right? So let me explain this, right? So he did win the match. I'll give a spoiler. He won the match, but this right here, as much as he was taunting me, I actually took his place in the next round because this leg, as much as he tried to laugh it off and everything, as a UFC fighter and everything, you can't take chances and everything. So he was injured, and so I actually took his spot in the next round.
Wow.
And so what's funny is because Eddie Bravo was coaching me for this one, but then I faced Eddie Bravo's who was the guy who was the ANA champion actually. Remember I was saying these are high level grapplers. So the guy who was the ANA champion was the next round and everything, and that's one of Eddie's main guys. So then he was coaching against me the next match. So.
Shit.
Dang.
But yeah, same thing. I mean, that's the thing. That's I told you. I was taunting him back a little bit. I have it in me, man. I taunt back sometimes. Like, I wouldn't otherwise do it, but hey, man, you're gonna taunt me. I'll taunt you right back.
Saying nothing on that. Nothing on that.
Yeah, and realistically, so I think so. This is again that was regulation, right? So tie 0-0, and it doesn't matter how it went. I was attacking him a lot more. It doesn't matter. It's like it's 0-0 now. So.
Yeah. What are you feeling right now going into OT?
Tired because I definitely used a lot of energy. And there's a lot on the motor. Again, I hit him in a go-go plot. I know the camera's eating that up.
Yeah.
Like that clip went viral right after. So it's like, when I say, I guess, viral is relative, but it had a lot of views after and everything. Like,
for sub only, do they always put you in like a position at the end?
The idea of sub only is that you submit them during regulation. So because it was a draw, then so that's update. Because neither of us submitted each other, that's where. So again, he's being like he gets.
So you could say he was kind of just playing that though, right?
Now, why does he get positioned first?
You get to choose. So I could pull up other matches where it's like, so right now again he gets to choose. He gets to start an armbar, right?
That's crazy.
So even if he that's the thing. So I've had matches like I've only been to sub only 3 times actually. So one of my biggest wins came in the next time I went to overtime here, right? But I'll just explain. So yes, he starts an armbar, right? Yeah. So basically I have to get out of this thing, and if I get out of it, then I get a position on him. If he taps me, then it's like, let's say, which is what happens like in the next round here. So pretty much I have to get out of this. So they count how much ride time, how much like time he had here. So it's like I think I'm about to get out of here right now. So they calculate it. It's like he's racked up, I don't know, like 30 seconds or something, right? Then I have time to again. I could if I submit him, then like essentially I'm going to win in overtime. So
right.
I'm about to be out of here.
Oh,
so,
look at that.
Yeah. So that's an escape. So again, someone with a stopwatch said, okay, whatever. That was 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever. So now I get to starting position. And so, for example, I mean, we could even fast forward. Well, I would say fast forward. Actually, I remember he does something. He sets me over to Eddie. I'll let you play it in a second. But
oh no,
I spoiled it a little bit. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say, so pretty much because he didn't submit me, like I have I think like up to 5 minutes. So I'm going for the choke. Yeah. If I finish him, then like he already had his shot. Now again, if I tap him, I win this match pretty much.
Yeah.
So again, if not, like again, because I don't tap him with this. Basically, they ride up. Okay, 5 minutes of ride time versus 42 seconds. Like, so that's at the end of the day. As much as they call it sub only, it's still not sub only. It's still what do you call it? Like, there's still ways you could win without getting a single submission. Basically.
Wow.
So again, he had good intentions, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really true for the better grapplers. So, So kind of going to what you were saying that that's why I think in a lot of ways this kind of ruins the sport. I do well in this rule set, but I'll still say it ruins the sport because there's people out there that they're so good at either getting like 1 minute like leg lock submissions and everything.
Look at this.
So he stands me up. So he stands me up and just sits me right down in a chair. Like he just came here to clown, right? And I remember the commentary was pretty much saying like that should count as escape or whatever. Like, but no, like obviously he didn't get out of the back control, so they made him go back. So he did that just for joke, and that's what we're saying. He used up energy just to kind of be a clown, basically. So. But anyway,
still look at this.
Well, that's to say, he came here for have fun, pretty much. I don't know. I don't think he came here with intention. That's to say, if you don't win the whole tournament, you don't make anything.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And realistically, that's what I'm saying. The high level grapplers that he probably didn't think he was gonna win the grand prize or anything, which still wasn't crazy money. I don't remember how much it was, but
you cracked his leg, so he's injured right now too.
A little bit. Yeah. So from that the calf slicer earlier.
Yeah. Damn, dude, you got the body lock on him. Body choke.
I'll say I've gotten a lot better at this choke. This is the most basic choke in
rear naked, right?
But believe it or not, it's like I've never actually won a match in competition. Like I'm starting to get 10 years in. I'm actually like only now starting to get kind of good at this choke. But that's the thing. That's the most basic choke, and that's always like one of the ones I struggle with. Like I'll go plot at people, but I have a hard time rear naked
with a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Damn, that is insane. Bro, you ever think of crowds at all? Did that ever get in your
A
head?
little bit, like a big time because Eddie. So open up a whole nother can of worms for this guy Eddie Bravo, right? He has this whole thing called combat jiu-jitsu. It's a little bit like a middle ground where it's like kind of like let's say you can't box at all, but it's like you want to do some type of fighting aspect. So you do grappling where you could like palm strike the guy and everything.
You slap him.
And that's the thing, like talking about how they never have opportunities for 205 and everything. I really badly like the part of the reason why I was doing the sub only is like this is my big moment. I came there in a lot of ways to impress Eddie Bravo and everything.
Right.
Hoping to get an opportunity at combat jiu-jitsu. To this day, they never had a combat jiu-jitsu at 205.
Wow.
And if it is, I'm not on that short list either. That's the thing. Like they always have opportunities for like 145, 155. Like
How do we get you in the conversation there?
tag Eddie Bravo. I don't have.
Wow,
Eddie.
wow, let's go.
So even right there, he
Come on,
shook my
Eddie.
hand because sometimes you have like one round of overtime, 2 rounds. He actually just thought he lost there. So because I held him for 5 minutes, so he just shook my hand thinking like the match is over. But they do 3 rounds of it. So sure enough, he's still in this. He has my back here, and you'll see in a minute. I mean, I ended up taunting back. I actually hurt myself a little bit, but that's the thing. So he's still going and everything. So match isn't over. He's got he gets another opportunity, like I said, to submit me. And again, if he submits me, I have to submit him in less time than he submitted me. So. Yeah, what I was saying about combat jiu-jitsu, particularly like when I retired from it, so again, I'm taunting, that's why I'm flaring that elbow out there. I'm saying, go ahead, take it. I'm like telling him, and yeah, sure enough, he made me pay for that a little bit. So,
no.
Yeah, so that's why I got over agreed because like reaching back there, it could help me with the escape, but instead what I did is I exposed my neck like that. So again, I could watch these in retrospect and say, man, what an idiot. Why did I do that kind of thing? But yeah, so sure enough, I paid for this and.
Dang.
Yeah, so whatever time, so that was more of like a crank right there. So yeah, so that's the thing. Now the match isn't over necessarily. Just because I got tapped, it's like the match isn't over because again, I got to basically if I could tap him in less time than he tapped me, then I could still win this thing.
Yeah.
So that's why so here I started, and I came really close actually. You'll see it in a second, but. If you want, you could just kind of fast forward to the end. I'll show you the other time I went to overtime where actually one of my bigger wins. No, not now. I meant, but that's fine. Let's start from here. You can start from here. So again, if I tap him in less time than he tapped me, which let's say it was 30 seconds or so, then then like I said, I'm going to win this match. So,
oh man,
so what I'm doing is I'm trying to feed my legs. This is a triangle setup that I do.
Separate the arms there.
Well, particularly it's actually so most people go for an armbar here. I have a really good triangle here too as well.
Oh, really?
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I almost had him. So right here.
Whoa!
Yep. So
whoa!
So that's the thing. Now here's the he survived. He's tough to choke. I'll tell you that. But that's the thing. So if I tapped it, like if he tapped anytime within 30 something seconds, whatever, I would have won. But so yeah, he survived this a little bit. So.
I've never seen a triangle like that before from the side like that.
Yeah, I've that one wasn't that clean. That's the thing. Like it was because I'm on borrowed time, so I don't have time to really fix it and adjust
you got to
it.
make it work quick.
Real quick, if you cross out Kevin Holland and type in Alex Nemeth, and we'll just so this is a really big one. This guy Alex Nemeth competes all the time, and then we'll just fast forward to the end. While you put a space there, yeah.
You got to space it out.
You put a space there, and you spelled it wrong.
Sick.
So this kid competes a lot. This is one of those people he competes every single weekend.
Is that how you say
I
it?
spell it wrong, but with an E there. But it might come up anyway. Just scroll down. I'll see if maybe I could find it anyway. Keep scrolling.
Hammerlock.
Well, we can play some other ones if you want, but maybe just go back in the typing.
Go back, yeah.
So it's with an E, like N-E.
N-E.
Well, even if you just type in Alex maybe, and then I'm sure the suggestion. I'm not good at spelling out loud. So that one right there, yeah. So just click that. We'll fast forward to the ending. I'll show you how overtime can work. So this guy actually he tapped me yet I still won so keep going even more. This is like almost towards the so actually this is still regulation. Keep going even more. All right, so I think this so right around here. So see so you can start from there, right? So see how he has my back here, right?
Yeah.
And again, this guy's a really good grappler. So again, he does tap me. I'll say this, but I still end up winning the match because this is the first round of regulation here. So similar, he started there. Most of the regulation was just kind of a stalemate. This guy's really good at leg locking people, and he had some solid attempts. I tried to counter leg locking him. So he gets me, and I guess I voluntarily asked to find a video of me getting choked out. I guess, but sure enough, so he gets me. So whatever. But that's the thing. Yeah. So this is regulation. I've that much time. So it was 30 something seconds to get him back. Right. So again, I started in the armbar position and. FYI, this guy looks exactly like my brother, like a 200-pound version. Like that's like I mean, I met him back in the day. It's like people used to like when I have a beard, like people think I was him. Like, but he looks exactly like my brother though. Like, if my brother was jacked though, like big and. So again, I've however much time and 3, 2, 1, go. Like,
You got to get him here.
Oof.
So essentially going for the same setup here, but again, he unlocked his
you got
leg.
him.
So I got in the arm.
Oh, no.
Yep. So that's the thing. So even though he tapped me, it's like I still won the match.
You still win.
Wow.
That's overtime.
Yeah.
That's overtime.
Damn.
Yeah.
And sub only.
And that's why, especially that one, the fact that maybe if I survived this first one and then tapped him, I'd feel a little better about the win. The only reason I bring that was a huge win because that guy he beats a lot. But otherwise, I still feel like that was I didn't better him necessarily. I won the rules kind of.
When was it? This was 2020.
This was earlier this year. Yeah, this was.
So how do we get you in the conversation for these Eddie Bravo combat?
I mean that's the thing. There's not other two. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna.
You don't think that's ever going to be a thing?
I'm not say ever, but again, they always a million times. I've had friends who have competed 3-4 times in the 145, and part of they're also in his circle. That's the big thing. They put other 10th Planet guys and everything. So when I did the Kevin Holland one, like I was representing 10th Planet and everything.
Yeah.
I don't travel like I used to, so I don't necessarily represent it. And not, I would if it helped me get in the front door like that. But that's the thing. I don't really train at that. I go there on holidays, like for the open mats and everything. So that helped me a lot. But the other things, they just don't have that weight class. It's not a popular weight class.
Let's make a 205 class.
For real, so. That's the big thing. Well, I've tried a few times. That Kevin Holland match was actually around this time a year ago too. Like, I think I was kind of waiting on it to be on my Facebook memories. I probably forgot. But like, that's the thing. I remember like last year. This is right when he's fighting Chakra.
Yeah.
I think I made a post and who wants to see a rematch of Combat Jiu-Jitsu, and I think I tagged. But the thing is, like, I mean, he was worried about fighting Chakra that week, so it's that's the thing. I would like to one day rematch Kevin Holland.
Come on, man.
Or just anything. It doesn't have to be Kevin Holland. I just want an opportunity to be able to. The thing is, the sport's been around for a little while in the Combat Jiu-Jitsu, but at the time it was like all these Jiu-Jitsu guys, and then they just go for submission.
Pull up real quick the combat jiu-jitsu stuff on YouTube so people know what we're talking about.
It's kind of weird. It's like you get slapped. It's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it looks a little weird actually, but
the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my god,
it's kind of weird, but that's what I say. See how like the third result there said knockout. Like that was the thing. There was a time when I first when the sport was so new, it was like nobody had ever knocked anybody out. So I'm like, me being an MMA guy, I don't know how to like pin somebody down and just stop them with unanswered strikes and everything. So that was my thought. I was like, I'm gonna be the first guy to knock someone out in a combat jiu-jitsu match. Just put me in there. Just give me an opportunity to do that.
You could slap the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, but only on the ground though. That's the thing. So
referee Mike Beltran.
Hey, turn that on.
Well, you don't want to hear?
No. Okay. I just want to get to like the part where they're slapping around so people know.
You're probably gonna have to go for a highlight. These are both jiu-jitsu guys. Both like I know both these names, and I don't know if either of these guys are really gonna do much slapping. Like
go to the highlights.
And that's kind of the problem is that they give these opportunities to guys who are already names and everything, and these are jiu-jitsu guys, so they're gonna come in there like. It's almost like it's not that much different than like Jake Paul and Ben Askren. Neither guy is really a boxer, but they have a boxing kind of thing. So you have these jiu-jitsu guys who it's just like.
Look at this.
They're not even going there necessarily trying to they're trying to submit each other. That's what I'm trying to say.
They're not trying
as opposed to like trying to slap each other.
Look at this.
But yeah, see, it's like you're allowed to. That guy Nick Pace, I know he was a UFC fighter. That's the thing. Getting some of these UFC names, they're the ones who, like I said, were stopping people and everything. So
that's interesting.
But that's it. Now it sets things up because again, like in a jiu-jitsu match, you have nothing to worry about. You just maybe keep holding, because you keep taking those slaps to the ribs, and maybe that's what opens up the submission. And
it's much faster paced.
Sure, you find some like pressure point. You're like,
it all depends on the person. I mean, that's what I'm saying. But so many times I'll just have two jiu-jitsu guys. Like, okay, it might technically be a rule set of.
Man,
this is one, like the one I was talking about. Actually, that's my friend right there, the one in the orange there. But that's what I'm saying. He's competed like 3 times in jiu-jitsu right there. That's J.M. Holland. He's the guy who runs the 10th Planet Bethlehem School. So he's competed in it like 3 times because he's in Eddie Bravo's circle. But they have like 145-pound weight classes all the time though. So
can we get the connection through my boy right here? Get the 205 division and get you in.
And that's what they're the ones who got me into on it. So I mean, it's like they're not miracle workers. They're the ones who.
Yeah,
my friend, like I said, the guy Thor who was like offered that on an invitational opportunity. Like he won the combat jiu-jitsu, but the thing is, like
your boy's bleeding here too, man.
Yep. Well, that's it, and that's what I was saying. Like, the sport was so new. That was like this. I think was actually the first combat jiu-jitsu match. Like, I think it was. So,
wow.
But I was gonna say, So my friend Thor, for example, I trained with him all the lead up to it. So it's like, man, I would love to do this. Like, I can't like submitting Thor is like a real hard thing. But it's like if I'm on top of him, hey man, I have a better shot if I can like strike him a little bit and everything. So I remember training with him like the lead up to this tournament. And the thing is, he's a great grappler. So he ended up running through everybody. He won the whole tournament, but he just tapped everybody in like a minute or less, pretty much.
Really?
So pull him up, and while we're talking about pull up John Blank. And especially combat jiu-jitsu, maybe, yeah. But the thing, that's what I'm trying to say. You won't see any like slapping. You'll just see, Blank.
Man.
Yeah, so that's probably the second one because he ran through the average fight time was like less than a minute. So, but that's the thing. If you ever see someone who could kick my ass, I mean, I haven't trained with him too much over the years, but
this is the guy.
Yeah, this is the guy I used to come up to PA every week I'd come up there every Saturday to train with this. Like the whole team was good, but him especially. That
he's got that look. He's got that killer.
That's one. Those are the coaches right there. Zach and Jam. Shout out to them. 10th Planet Bethlehem.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I never heard of combat jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, it didn't really and part of the reason why it didn't take off, the jiu-jitsu guys say, well, we don't want it. We just want to do regular jiu-jitsu. And that's the MMA guys. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a different match. This wasn't the tournament he did, but, yeah, so this guy was an ex-UFC fighter as well, so.
What's his name?
The guy he fought,
Guy's big.
something Casey, Kevin Casey maybe or something.
Okay.
Or,
He's got. See, he's getting slapped.
He tried at least, yeah. But yeah, John. That's what I'm saying. John's just really. At the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. John was so good that he didn't have to do the. Yeah, he hurt him a little bit with that one, but. But that's what I'm saying. John's a great wrestler that he never uses wrestling, but he's so good at like leg lock. He's so good at the actual jiu-jitsu part of it that
good night.
That he doesn't actually have to slap guys. He just does jiu-jitsu. And
wow.
So even though that guy tried to slap him, but yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying about these leg locks is like even that one you could tell it like he tapped right away, he let go right away, but it's still
look at it,
twisted him.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
That's what, look, that's what I'm saying. He tapped right away. John didn't like hold it or anything. Leg locks are just that brutal and everything. So.
Dude, he's vicious. Look at his fucking face. That's a scary guy right there.
He definitely is. Yeah. So.
Whoa.
Well, the part that you were talking about, like how I'm flexible for a big guy. Like he's not as big. He maybe weighs like 185 or whatever. But that guy's strong as an ox and everything, and he moves the same way. He can throw his leg over his head just the same and everything.
Jeez,
so that's what I say. He's definitely he's a scary dude. Yeah, for sure. I haven't trained with him in a while. And that's right after he won that combat jiu-jitsu, he opened up a school, and it's a little bit farther. It's in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So I went there, I think, over the summer. I've gone and trained with him a handful of times, but I miss those days. I used to go up to PA every week and train with him, get my ass kicked, drive an hour to PA just to be humble.
to be humbled,
but that's going back to what we were saying before. It's like, again, I voluntarily, like, there's always a bigger fish out there.
Yeah.
Remember, I could beat everybody in my gym or whatever, but it's like, okay, you go up to PA to find the bigger fish. And that's how you strengthen it. That's how you get better and everything. You got to find. Some people they want to be the big fish in the pond all the time. They want to only train with people they know they can get better of. Like, no, I seek the challenges. Like that's how you get sharp. That's how you know that. Hey, like the way to beat everybody is to find the ones that can beat you. Let them get you better and everything. Like find someone to kick your ass. That way you can. That way you don't let it happen to you again. Pretty much. I think when you get beat in a fight and everything, is like the motivation is to train hard so you don't have this happen to you again. So you could just, like I said, train. You could coast all the time. Train with people you're better than. And, but the thing, I want to find people who are better than me, so that's how I'm going to get better.
Have you ever heard of the Rinaldis out of Jersey? Jerry Rinaldi, Danny Rinaldi, brother.
I know Dan. I know him. Yeah, no, that guy's a great res. Yeah, Danny Rinaldi.
That's my cousin.
Oh, no way.
That's like my brother. I love him.
Yeah, so if 99% sure he's like made 200 pounds.
Big guy. Yeah, like your size.
That's the thing. He's he's an amazing wrestler. So I've been training with him since like the pandemic, I think. But
really?
He's a cop, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
No, exactly. Oh, wow, that's crazy. He's a cousin.
Dude, that's cousin.
That guy's good. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But like that being said, as good as he is, it's like, man, it's like, hey, when are you around, man? I gotta train with you, man. Because
he trained with Frankie Edgar for a while, and he trained with I think Henner sometimes.
The place I trained with them was it's called Carnicella MMA.
Yes,
That's where I've trained with them. I've trained all over the place. Again, I look for the best place I can train and everything, wherever I can go. So, especially during the pandemic, I mean, Paul Carnicella, I mean, he let me, him and one of my main training partners, like, we weren't paying dues or anything. He just, as
let
friends.
You do his thing?
Because back in the day, how I met him, one of my friends, he was fighting, a guy like, he was fighting this guy Danny Holmes, who I ended up later fighting on and everything. Like he needed some big guys to help him train with, so he was just like, "Hey, you come here to help me train and everything." Yeah. And so then I think there was another guy talking about rubber guard for a minute ago. He's fighting. One of his guys was fighting a rubber guard guy. Yeah. He's like, "Hey, can you help my guy with that?" And then like the next fight, I was fighting Danny Holmes. They came up with a game plan to fight Danny and everything. So I was like, "Hey man, can I do my training camp here?" Like you guys came up with a great game plan. Great game plan that didn't actually get used. So let me tell you a quick story about this one. So this guy Danny Holmes, like good record and everything, but again he was coming off like a loss to my teammate and everything. So I go out there to train the same place, following the same game plan and everything. Well, so I remember he was a big ticket seller. So I was never a big ticket seller. Okay. His fight was at the Borgata in Atlantic City. So he's selling the place out and everything. Everybody came there. Dang. Well, the week before they had like what do you call it, like a meet and greet? I guess it was like whatever the UFC fight was playing. Yeah. So they asked the guy, hey, what's your thoughts on Alec Hooben? And first off, he's like, who? I'm like, it's like stop it, that guy. Who you're fighting and everything. But he's like, the guy you're fighting next week or whatever. Oh yeah, he's gonna be scared to stand with me. He's gonna shoot and I'm gonna submit him. That was his prediction. Okay. Right? It was 100% accurate, just the other way around and everything. So
he shot.
That's the thing. So it wasn't. I'm not gonna say I dominated him standing. It was a quick fight and everything. But I'm throwing a few exchanges. He didn't touch me at all in that fight. Like he wasn't landing any of them. Yeah. And so he went for a takedown. And we're talking about those heel hooks and everything. So the crowd again, they're all there to see him. He has me in a takedown. and he takes me down. Everybody's cheering. Yeah, Danny or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell what's going on in the ground there.
Yeah.
So I put him in one of those heel hooks and everything, taps right away. And so then I stand up, everybody, yeah. I put my hands up, and the crowd went silent. It was that was a good moment.
That was his crowd.
I don't really sell many tickets, so everybody came to see. So it's like, just stand up, I ruined everybody's day, and everybody's just kind of.
You played the bad guy.
That's it. I've never seen a crowd go so close because we had the professional video and everything, but one of my friends went Facebook Live on that, and that's where you could really hear the audience a little bit more. So that was especially, and you could see, you can't really tell what's going on the ground. You just see me coming up there.
What's the highlight of your career? Would you say? What would you say is like the moment you remember the most?
The best fight, or
best moment?
There's a lot of them. So this one got a little bit sour, but talking about fighter pay, this one promoter screwed me out of a lot of money. But one of my favorite fight stories, I think it was actually the very next fight. So after that Danny Holmes fight, again, I couldn't find opponents. That was always the common theme. I could never find people.
Yeah.
So sat out for almost a whole year. No injury or anything, just couldn't find opponents and everything. So I ended up contacting this manager, this person who I was Facebook friends with. This person, they were always like looking for last minute fights kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, maybe this person can get me a fight. Go on the road somewhere, fight like in the Carolinas or something like somewhere outside this immediate area because I can't find opponents and everything.
Sure.
I either fought all the top guys or they didn't want to fight me. There was a side story. So there was this guy who was the PA cage fight champ, the most unoriginal name ever, called PA cage fight. But he was a champion. It's like, so I was like, I asked the promoter, like, hey, can you get me a fight?
Yeah.
Cool, let's have you fight the champion. I had a good winning record. The champion turns me down. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. What are you talking? Like, you're the champion. You're supposed to take on all comers. And I remember, I'm not necessarily proud of this. I sent him a message afterwards, and I sent because when he turned me down, I'm like, dude, like, I see right through it. You don't want to lose to some like unknown guy and everything. And I saw a Facebook message, so it said he read it, and then you see some typing bars and everything. To this day, never responded. So he was thinking of he was thinking of the words to say back to me, but it's like. So sure enough, I didn't get that fight and everything. Yeah. So I contacted this manager thinking, maybe I'll find a fight on the road somewhere.
Yeah.
So we found this, they found a match of someone. They needed a short notice. Their number one ranked guy, and I think it was Michigan. So it was like, good winning record. But I looked at the video. I mean, another thing, this area, New Jersey, PA, and everything, affiliate, like that's a really good, like tough area and everything.
For sure.
That's why you see, like for example, guys like Paul Felder, for example, right?
Yeah.
In fact, he did commentary actually for that very fight with Danny Holmes I was talking about. Right?
Wow.
Like, he's the last guy to beat Charles Oliveira, for example.
He's
right?
a monster.
That's what I say. Like a lot of these guys, like Chris Weidman, all these guys, like they came at the ring combat and everything.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm just trying to say, like this area, the guys who win here,
hotbed.
they go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're like fighting the number one ranked guy in Michigan. It's like like I watched him. It's like all right, he's good, but I'm not afraid of this guy.
You toss him around.
Good winning record and everything.
Yeah.
So they verbally agreed to it. So we're waiting on a contract and. So anyway, and this is nice too because I'm not a ticket seller. Like that's always a big part of it. Like you don't sell tickets. So all I gotta do is just hop on a plane, fight this guy. I don't have to worry about any of the promotion.
Oh my God.
And so then I get a Facebook message all of a sudden, and this guy Mike Wade tags me. I'm like, I don't know who Mike Wade is, or whatever. And it says, I wonder if Alec Hooben's gonna take this fight with the thinking emoji. So I'm like, what is he talking about, right? Then I go on his page, and it's like he's calling out all the guys in Jersey and everything. Whoa. He's saying this guy won't fight me because my biceps are too big. He's tagging everybody, like trying to pick fight with people. So I comment, I'm like, dude, you don't have to beg me to fight. I'm looking for a fight, but I'm waiting on a contract. And he didn't say a damn word. So it's all his friends, all these guys, they're all pussies. They're all waiting on a contract. They're all at their reasons, or whatever. Like, so I was like, the way I looked at it, like this is like he wanted to fight like in a local show or whatever. Like that fight will always be there. But this number one ranked guy in Michigan, this is circumstantial. He needs he needs a short notice opponent and everything. Yeah. It's a bigger win. In my opinion, the guy Mike Wade, he was a state champion wrestler.
Okay.
After I looked him up, I didn't know who he was at first, but I looked him up. He's a good fighter and everything.
Yeah.
He didn't have, his record I think was like 5-4, but like he fought all his losses were like all UFC fighters. Like, at least one of those he got robbed badly. I watched. I mean he really should have been like 6-3, I guess. And definitely should have win. I think 2 wins over UFC. But like one of them he did get. One of them. So yeah, this is a way tougher fight than. And again, like less again. Again, it's local. Had to sell tickets and everything. Yeah. So I'm thinking like I'm down to fight him, and obviously he's trying to make it personal. Like, but let's do this later. Just let me get this Michigan fight. Well, anyway, this the promoter or the manager rather, the person who I was working with, tried to like bluff the promoter. They're like, well, if we don't get a contract by the end of the night, we're going to take this Mike Wade fight. They're like, go ahead, do it then. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? I want that fight. I wanted that fight, but so it's like, all right, you just caused me to lose this big fight. All right, Mike Wade, let's go and everything, right? So sure enough, okay, yeah. So now we're fighting, right? And this guy, he's trying to intimidate me every step of the way. Like he's tagging me like. I guess he fought a Marine and broke his jaw or something like that. Okay. So he's tagging me. This is what happened the last time I fought a Marine and everything. He's just trying to get in my head and everything. Again, it's like, dude, I signed to fight you, man. I'm not afraid. If I was afraid, I wouldn't have taken the fight and everything. So, another thing. So speaking of Marines, that like this Marine I used to know, like not very well, more an acquaintance, like someone who never like messaged him or anything. Yeah. He messaged me going, "Dude, knock Mike Wade out," or whatever. And I'm like, like, do you know him? Or something? He's like, yeah, we used to work together. And I'm like, like what kind of work did you? He's like, yeah, he was a dick. Whatever. Like, what kind of work did you do? He said stripping. And I'm like, well, I don't know quite what to say to that. And then he's like, yeah, dude, it was easy. It was easy money, get paid to be in shape, whatever. I'm like, whatever. So then he says like, call him by his stripper name at the way. I remember it was Damian Kelly. That was his stripper name. So he was like, call him by his stripper name at the weigh-ins.
no,
Bro.
Damian Kelly.
What did his face go like? He was
Well,
about to-
he even looked like I didn't call
You
him.
didn't say he did?
I didn't do that. But he even looked like Magic Mike. He was jacked to the gills and
Jacked
everything.
up?
So
Yeah.
So anyway, Ben Glenn, he's a state champion wrestler.
Yeah.
And he's knocked people out and everything. So it was a tough fight. So talking about like one of the fights I took, first punch of the fight, he dropped me and everything. The fight. The fight. You can pull this one up. Actually, I won't even spoil it. Let's pull it up then. If you have to,
Let's
do this. So I'll just say it's So I got off to a bad start here. So Alec Hooben versus Mike Wade.
You Are Here podcast, episode 151. Alec Hooben is in the building. Go subscribe.
I didn't think you were going to have the ability to do this.
We had, dude. And
You
What's
guys
the name
are,
again? What's the name?
Mike Wade.
Mike Wade.
Mike Wade.
Dude, we're big time now, bro.
Yeah,
We've
man.
been doing
We'll make it work. We'll make
3
it work.
years. We're growing.
So that one.
Damn, it's
You're gonna have to
all
skip.
up here, huh?
Look
Yeah,
at
so you're
this.
gonna have to skip. So that's the guy first. Again,
he's jacked
He's a
to
big
the
jack.
gills, man.
In fact, the promoter's straight up said, "I'd be surprised if he doesn't pop for steroids." So,
Wow.
Want me to skip forward?
Don't overskip. Well, the
Don't
fight
overskip,
started was
don't
so
overskip,
just skip about like 30 seconds, maybe like.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
so-
That's good.
Yeah, just to be safe. Well, maybe you can hit the
you're-
double tap. Yeah, exactly.
You're pissed at this
Okay,
point.
I'm not pissed. I try to keep my emotions
go.
together and everything.
Yeah.
So
There he is.
Come on.
There's our boy.
In the cage.
yeah, it doesn't go off to a great start, but
Southpaw.
yeah.
Yeah.
You always did that MMA?
Yeah, I was always I'm a lefty, so
Okay.
Let's go.
Camo shorts.
Yeah,
Oh
so
man,
it
first
didn't have-
shot.
But the difference, like I said, my last fight or my last loss up in this point, like I said, I got dropped first point to the fight and everything. But the thing is, I don't like the fight was over pretty much. Like I didn't have like the wherewithal to know where I was at. Even though I was covering up the same way and everything,
Right,
I had the wherewithal. The thing is, at least I had the wherewithal. I was there and everything. I could see what's going on. So I was kind of. I think at this point, I'm threatening a leg lock, and that's what gets
Wow.
in the back off me. So that's at least I knew I could consciously fight back. That's what I was saying here. So
Yeah,
so again,
yeah.
he backed off to the leg lock, and
By this point, are you all your facilities back?
yeah, exactly. I'm kind of just thinking, almost like when I got slipped the boxing session you're talking about.
Yeah.
See, I just hit him with a good knee to the body right
Yep,
there. So
yep.
again,
And you
it's
hurt
like
him.
you get paralyzed when you get hit with the knee to the body, pretty much. So
Oof. Mike Wade's like,
He
I
just-
just threw
he looks
everything
so-
I had at him,
He
and
just
it
looks
didn't work.
dense.
yeah.
Well, that's scary. If you
yeah.
if you drop the guy and you're hitting him and you got the ground and pound going and he
Yeah.
doesn't stop, like that's scary. Oh, there it is. Was that to the body or the head?
Well, the first one that stunned him, and I think they'll show on the replay. Like the one that stunned him was one of the knee. So at that point, like he's kind of like looking, unofficially looking for a way out and everything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so that was an unrelated story. One of my old training partners, he threw water at me.
I was gonna say something
But here's the it's the thing. I didn't know you could see my back was turned. I didn't even know about it. And so the next day, I kind of found out like what was going on there and everything. So he was throwing water like as a celebration, but like
Yeah.
I guess one of the promoters or one of the what do you call it, the media guys was like saying like, oh, the local fighter Adams, trying to start a fight with them or
Oh,
but
boy.
that's the thing. Then when we kind of sorted out in the comments and Facebook, he was saying, so here's the replay. So that's him dropping me. I'm not show that.
It's
one.
overhand
Don't,
right.
no, I don't show that.
All right,
one.
all right, guys.
But see how that one of the body is the one that stunned him a little bit. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
barely showed the replay. But so that's the thing. Once he went in for round two, trying to hit him with another big right hand, I hit him with a left knee to the liver
Oof,
there. And
oof.
again, when you get hit with a knee to the liver like that, again you just kind of shut off. Like that thing, I pressed him against the cage, but he wanted out at that point. So
Was he respectful after or no?
yeah, well, that's what I'll say afterwards because as much as he talk shit and everything leading up to it, I came up to him afterwards and I'm just like, dude, like I enjoyed it, man. The lead up to this was fun and everything. Like well played or whatever. You got me excited about it. You get everybody. I don't try not to take the stuff personally.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I wished him good luck after. So here's the funny thing. Actually, during the pandemic, so I added him on Facebook right after because it's all over. What do I have to be mad about? I just won, right?
man.
So. Yeah, I added him on Facebook. I sent him a message. I always do this. I would send him a message like, hey, good luck in your career and everything. And
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, I guess he was going through the same. Part of the reason why he was calling out fighters from Jersey to begin with, he couldn't find people.
Right.
He was going through the same thing I was going through. He couldn't find anyone to fight him. That I think him and his teammate were like the top tier ranked guys. So the only other guy was his teammates. Obviously enough. He couldn't find anyone in his area to fight him. So that's why he's trying to pick a fight in a neighboring town. That's what I was doing. That's
Yeah, I guess it's a good idea, huh?
So what I was saying is that so during the around 2020, he was going through the whole hey, I'll fight anybody. I'll go up to heavyweight. I'll fight any, So I remember as I'm a retired fighter. I'm sitting back. I'm just kind of sitting back and enjoying this now. So so I hit the like button on that river, and then I noticed that all of a sudden, he likes it. The most recent picture I put, which is a picture of my daughter. So if I had to guess, I have a feeling when he saw my name go there, going like, all right, let me start a fight with them. Let me go right on his wall or something. Then maybe saw I'm in dad mode now. So it's like you know what. Fine, you're good. I hear like your picture. So that's if I had to guess, I have a feeling he would. He probably went on my page trying to say, let's run it again or something.
Bro, I mean, after you fight somebody, after you fight another man, like there's like a wave of respect afterward, right? Like you
most of
can't,
the time, yeah. So
you guys.
Well, I could tell on my end, like I said, exactly. He talked all the shit. He's said I'm going to break your jaw like the last all this kind of, like all this. At the end of the day, it's like this is fight promotion. I don't take this stuff personally. I could say no. I'll say that actually my very next fight almost went exactly the opposite. So I fought this guy. So the same thing. I'm trying to go on the road. I'm trying to find whoever can go. Yeah. When you go into a neighboring town, they don't bring you in there to win. So I went to Massachusetts or one of those New England, it was New Hampshire. I don't know, whatever Rhode Island. It was one of they're all the same place to me. New England's the same place to me. But anyway, so I'm fighting the top guy. I'm fighting this guy Mike Rodriguez. Well, actually, I have it, but it's on unlisted. So I would say pull it up. Well, maybe pull up Mike Rodriguez. You might see a fight or two of his. Because what I was gonna say is again, he's the biggest top ranked guy, and he won't accept the fight from me. First off, so it took a lot of campaigning to find this fight to begin with. Say UFC, so probably even some of his regional fights. But that's the fight that I'll say. They'll click on that one because and the guy he's fighting, Jamel Jones, is one of the top guys in our area, by the way.
Oh man!
But this is the Contender Series. I'll say this is a fight.
He was on the Contender Series.
So I'm kind of spoiler alert, going ahead of time a little bit, but you can just let it play out a little bit if you want. Anyway, what I was saying, so exactly, he's the top guy in Massachusetts forever, and he's trying not to fight me and everything. So eventually, I accept the fight. And I should also mention, working regional, doing the regionals, you don't make money doing this. So I was working a job at Walmart. Leading into this, I was working in the back room. I ran my toe over with a pallet jack. So it's like I had no, I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I didn't have the best training camp going to this. Yeah. I didn't have a toenail for most of it. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but you have not having a toenail. It affects how you move. It affects your everything was affected. So anyway, so it's like I couldn't pull out of this fight, especially when I kind of campaigned and and asked for it and everything, and took a lot of convincing to get it and everything. So anyway, I was gonna say, so I was winning the fight. I made a dumb mistake, and then he hit me with a flying knee, and ended up getting signed to the. Well, this was his very next fight, the Contender Series. So
this was his next fight after fighting.
So it's one of those things that realistically, and the thing is, this was the first season of the Contender Series. I should mention too.
Wow.
So that wasn't like a thing at the time. There's a lot of things. This is one of those fights that keeps me up at night because it's like If I probably just if I just didn't take the fight, I probably would have been on that short list.
Wow.
I had a 5-2 record after that. I probably would have gotten an opportunity had I just plain not fought him. Let alone definitely if I'd won the fight. Like, of course, the UFC would be calling me and everything. Because especially talking about light heavyweights, there's no light heavyweights and everything. So they were signing guys with my record was 5-2. There were guys like with 4-1. It's like I have every reason to believe that they would have where I was ranked in. I think I was the number 2 ranked guy in PA at the time. They put the number 1 ranked guy. He was on the Contender Series. So I have no reason to believe I definitely would have gotten on the show had I not even taken the fight. Wow. Definitely if I'd won the fight. So and then so sure enough, he gets signed to the UFC, and we could see how it went. But I mean, obviously, how this one kind of goes here. Then the very next fight I fought in Bellator too, and that was another one where
you fought in Bellator.
Well, that's the thing. So I still had a good record. So they threw me in there, but they threw me in there to lose. So just for 1 second, let's talk about fighter pay for a second. Going back to this because all these people that think that the grass is greener and everything. You're thinking the fighter pay that there's more money to be made. So I'm just getting distracted because that other guy's a Division I wrestler here. So that's what I'm not gonna lie. Going into this fight, like when I was fighting, I think I took down Mike Rodriguez pretty easy in our fight.
Did you really?
So that's why going into this fight, I thought Jamel Jones was a really bad matchup for him. So I actually even it's kind of thing I was rooting for Mike because I want the guy who beat me to. I think this is probably coming up soon. So I'm gonna get distracted if I start the story. So let's just watch this first. Actually,
yeah.
Because that's the thing. His signature move is the flying knee. Going into the fight, he had a flying knee knockout and everything. So
did he try one on you or no?
Well, he hit me with the flying knee to the ribs. So at least I didn't get knocked out. So here he comes. Yep. That's the thing. I know his setup now because I've watched the film, especially after the fact and everything. So so that was exactly that's what I'm saying. I thought he was going to lose this match. I thought this was a really bad matchup for him. His wrestling was kind of the whole of his game and fighting Division I wrestler. So he got a contract that night. So
wow.
Well, in fact, let me just go back to search Mike Rodriguez and because I don't know if that's the thing. The UFC ones might kind of overshadow it on the. All I was gonna say. So basically, I was going into the lead up to that fight. So scroll down. I want to see if maybe I could find it. Maybe type in Mike Rodriguez and CES. That's that's because that's the promotion that we fought for. Scroll down a little bit. Because it might not be up here. Well, that's actually an interview about his fight with me right there. So. But so
Alec Hooben,
when we were about to fight. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm going to find the footage. But what I was going to say is so going into the lead up of that Mike Rodriguez fight, pretty much there was a highlight reel of him knocking out a dude like that, knocking him out cold and everything. Oh man! And so I guess maybe one of the related videos was a flying knee knockout. Do you know who Michael Venom Page is?
Yeah. MVP.
I was gonna say, well, you can pull it up if you want, but Mike Rodriguez literally fractured someone's skull with a flying knee or something around the same time period and everything, right? So I don't know if again search out the YouTube algorithms whatever it recommended that, and they're both long skinny black guys and everything. So my mom thought I was fighting MVP. Thought I was fighting MVP. So that's the thing. She saw the footage I guess of the flying knee or whatever of one that Mike Rodriguez actually landed, whatever. And she's like, the guy you fought broke someone's skull in his last fight or something. I'm like, no, really, that wasn't him. Different black guy, I guess. But,
man.
Anyway, well, as I said, so let me go back to Bellator for a second, especially talking about fighter pay. So I was fighting, I got paid above average for that Bellator fight because they were throwing me in there again, kind of going back to
they're a big promotion too. They're a big promotion.
Sort of. What kind of this kind of goes into what I was going to say. So everybody think, these whiny UFC fighters, one that say I don't get paid enough and everything, they go to Bellator and everything. And the thing is, the guys who, again, I was saying that there's a common theme. They're the ones who are not really moving the needle. The Phil Davis, the Ryan Baders, these guys, they're good. They're top. Again, these guys can kick my ass. I just want to point that out. Don't anyone say, hey, who was this guy or whatever. So these guys can kick my ass, sure, but there was guys, they were the ones who kind of were the gatekeepers. They lost the contenders who went on to the fight for the title and everything. They go to Bellator and they clean house and everything. So in the meanwhile, those two guys fought each other in a 3-round snoozer in the UFC. They rematched a few years later in a 5-round snoozer for a title in Bellator, right? So that's the thing. These guys, they all come. Corey Anderson right now. Again, he's a Jersey guy, so I'm especially going to kind of watch what I say here. But he's another one of these guys that he complains for like, hey, UFC, you don't pay me enough. You don't pay me enough. I'm going to retire. And Dana White's just like, go ahead and retire.
Go do it. Yeah.
So that's what they said. Yeah. Then Bellator will pay top dollar for these guys who are ex-UFC fighters. And
right.
And then they'll just put on rematches of the same fight. Like again, Phil Davis, Ryan Bader. They already, Phil Davis, Lyoto Machida. It's like
who wants to watch that?
They Frank Mir, Roy Nelson. It's like it was a 3-round snoozer, a sloppy heavyweight fight. Now you just have a bunch of 40-year-old dudes doing it. Anyway, Bellator loves to sign ex-UFC fighters. That's and they'll pay them top dollar. So those headlines of Corey Anderson's making more in his 3 fights in Bellator than all his UFC fights or whatever. But at the end of the day, compare apples to apples and everything. Debuting UFC fighter, that the year was 2017, right? Debuting UFC fighter made $10,000 to show, $10,000 to win, right? And it's like there's like a structure. Like if you win the next fight, or if you win that fight, then the next one will be 12 and 12, and 14 and 14, and everything. And then there's a Reebok sponsorship and everything. So talking about pay for a second, I was fighting their undefeated prospects. So you could find out like how much fighters are getting paid and everything. A debuting UFC or a debuting Bellator fighter made $1,000 and $1,000. So that's literally a tenth of UFC for 10 and 10, pretty much 10,000, 10,000. So they make a tenth of this is you compare one for one. So 2017 we're talking about. UFC's wage has gone up since then. I mean nowadays it's like 12,000 to show, 12,000. Not to mention the big thing for me. I mean being a guy who throws go-go platas up and everything, you can win a performance bonus. So you could be the undercard on a non-pay-per-view whatever. You can again you go-go plata someone. That's another $50,000. You have a great fight. You could be on a losing end of it and get a 50,000.
50 G's.
You could double bonus. You could get 100,000 bonus. Anyway, so I'll just say, but forget about bonuses for 1 second. Again, debuting UFC fighter at the time makes 10 and 10. 10,000 to show, 10,000 to win.
Yeah.
This guy I was fighting again was their undefeated, prospect coming up. He missed weight. So what happens is that the other guy gets 20% of his pay. I could put that in my calculator, times that by 5. I know what he got paid. I know what his contract was. I know what he got paid. So he made $3,500 to show, $3,500 to win. So in other words, to win his third Bellator fight, go 3-0, he made less than a debuting fighter makes to lose his UFC fight.
Wow.
So again, and that's mentioning it doesn't factor in sponsorship. What I got paid $2,500 to show and that was the biggest pay. The other thing, I wasn't complaining. That was the biggest paycheck I got in a long shot. In fact, him missing weight matched my previous high. I got 12,000 or 1,200 rather for him missing weight and everything. That's the most they got paid up until that point. And everything.
Wow.
So that's why, again, these whiny fighters saying I don't get paid enough. It's all perspective, right? I was very happy to receive a $12,000 bonus for him missing weight, $1,200. I got, and then I got $2,500, for my pay. That's what a UFC fighter at the time made to wear a Reebok sponsorship. All these free shirts, all these free gear, and that's what I got paid to actually fight. Again, then they get paid 10 G. Again, a UFC fighter at the time gets knocked out in their first fight, 5 seconds, whatever, Ben Askren style. They get knocked right away. Guess what? That part, Ben Askren got paid a lot more because obviously he had a big name going. But again, you could be a no-name fighter, get knocked out, whatever. Would have made $12,000 in 2017 to $12,500, and that's what I'm saying. Meanwhile, so Jordan Young, 3-0 in his career at the time, in Bellator or whatever, he made $7,000 total. He made less because he missed weight, but so if he was on the same pay scale as the UFC, where it goes up by 2,000 every time, his contract would have been 14 and 14, so 28,000 plus 2,500 for the. So he would have made over 30 grand if that was his third UFC fight that he won. So again, everybody says and then. Okay, that's the bottom of the bottom, all right? Well, who's the highest paid guy in 2017? And probably was Conor, right? I mean, compare Conor to all the top 10 in Bellator. I bet you he made more than.
Come on.
Compare apples to apples. Don't tell me that Ryan Bader and Phil Davis are doing better in Bellator.
No way.
Generally speaking, again, but UFC pays way more. So again, all these media people, all these whiny, people just saying, they don't pay him enough. Compared to who? Everybody, they compare him to NFL or something. Not the same sport. Apples and apples, oranges. NFL guys, what's a football game? 48 minutes, and they play every single weekend and everything. Again, these guys fight for 15 minutes or less and everything, saying they don't get paid enough and everything. Compared to who? Don't compare the NFL. Compared to a Bellator. again, maybe a handful of people, they'll pay top dollar for the guys who didn't really sell in the UFC, but most of the people in Bellator, it's not, the grass isn't greener. That's just what they know.
Well,
and a rant there, I guess.
No, I get it, man. But like, it's interesting because like Bellator is the only other show there that I see on TV, right? It's the only show.
That's another thing. So I thought that was the end of 2017. I don't even know how to watch a Bellator fight anymore because they and I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I literally don't know how to watch them anymore because
where are they?
They started off, they were like on the Spanish channel when they were like really. They used to do tournaments. There's a lot of things that changed over the years. They were like on the Spanish channel. They went to like MTV. They went to Spike, which turned into Paramount River. After that, they went to some channel called like DAZN or something. Which,
DAZN.
I mean, I know of it. I don't. You need a subscription.
I don't know how to do it either.
And I don't even think I think they're on something else. I think they're on Showtime maybe now or something. Yeah, I can't watch a fight if I wanted to. And meanwhile, do I really want to watch? Roy Nelson and Frank Mir battle out in their 40s or something.
The headliners I don't want to see.
But the thing, they just put on a rematch. So talking about the same guy I was talking about, Jordan Young, right?
Yeah.
He was he ended up losing his last Bellator fight. He was 5-1, so I think he ended with like a 10-1 MMA record, 5-1 Bellator. Okay. He never fought on a main card. But meanwhile, you had Rampage and Vanderlei rematching each other. Why did Jordan? So one of two things. Like that, Rampage versus versus Jordan Young, right? One of two things. Either Rampage knocks out the undefeated contender, and hey, cool, put him in a big fight now, or he makes a name off of him.
That's what the UFC does.
Exactly. That's what I say. Exactly. The changing the guard and everything, or again, you show the veteran shows you what's up and everything. Man. Listen, they never mix it. So how does it? A guy like Jordan Young, literally, despite the fact that they built him up, how do you go 5-1 in a promotion and never you're 5-0 at one point because he lost his last fight, 5-0 and never even like made it on a main card yet.
Damn, bro.
And it's like so that's it. But yeah, they'll put these ex-UFC fighters on there all the time.
That's why UFC, I think they have the code. They figured out the formula, and it works. We fall in love with the undercard undercard people. We fall in love with the everyone has a story. We're always following, and it makes it interesting. I want to see technique versus technique. I want to see who trained with who, which would Duke Rufus, which was the I don't know, whatever other camp.
There's a lot of things I could talk about that fight. So one of the things is that I had a plan. The thing I was hoping to be on a main card. He had he had a good winning record. It was like the actual main card that night had like a bunch of women who were like 1-0 or like 3-2, like I guess relative to their weight class maybe they're. But it's like how does there was this girl Heather Hardy, I think her name was like she was like 1-0 in MMA or something, and was like co-main event or something. I could be wrong about that, but it's one of those. Again, this guy's 7-0 in MMA. He's 5-0. Why is he not on the main card? Like, granted, I would have made the main card being his opponent, but it's I'm not saying I deserved it necessarily over these people. Like, no, but our fight should have been on the main card, right? Yeah. The other thing too is that I was really hoping for afterwards, obviously I planned on winning this fight. That was didn't go as a plan, but I was hoping they'd give me a microphone afterwards and again talking about all these ex-UFC. I wanted to call out Vanderlei Silva. That was my goal. I wanted to. That was my goal. I had a line rehearsed and everything. I was like, Vanderlei, you bum, whatever. All this I don't remember the details, but I wanted to fight him. But here's the thing: the undercard fights. They just rush them one after the other. They don't give you an interview. In fact, they were like when I fought Jordan, when I was walking in there, they were still cleaning the blood from the last fight. I literally stepped in somebody's blood on the way in, so they're so quick because they had like a time slot. Like the main card has to start at like 7 o'clock or something, and it's like they had like a 2-hour window to put on like all these fights and everything. So they were literally like one after the other, again I'm stepping on the guy's blood as they're cleaning everything. So so that's it. But so an undercard fighter like myself, again, if I pull off the upset, beat the undefeated contender. Vanderlei again, I wanted to follow. I wanted to call it Vanderlei.
Well, that's the big name. It's like a Mickey Gall,
Mickey's my friend first. I've known him before he ever had his first fight and everything.
He's a Jersey guy.
What's funny is actually he was the main person. I didn't tell very many people his plan. I wanted to obviously. Mickey was he's probably the only person I talked to about it, and he was telling me kind of essentially because that's exactly what he did. He was telling me rehearsing the mirror and everything. And, it was he's kind of I ran the line by him. I didn't tell anybody. I wanted to shock everybody. I wanted to pull up this upset, call it Vanderlei, and then from there I would have called out Chael or someone I would have I'm just saying. Well, these are names. Look, let's say I lost whatever. I would have made my. I would have. It doesn't matter. It still would have put me in there. And everything.
Yeah, Mickey had a tough fight his last fight, right?
Yeah, well, that's the one thing. I was like, on one end, sure, he got to jump the line and everything.
He did. He jumped the line for sure.
We talked about Brock Lesnar coming to WWE, right?
Yeah.
When they announced CM Punk, it's like I couldn't give any less of a shit and everything, right? Yeah. Until Mickey became the front runner. Then it's we're campaigning, we're sharing the articles, this guy might be fighting. Let Mickey fight him and everything. Yeah. And so obviously, I became very excited about it when he's a good friend of mine and everything. So,
man.
That's the thing. No, he was so good in the practice room that it's when I first heard about it, and they're like, he's got to fight a guy with a similar record. I was like, well, that's not right. That's not fair. Well, just in general, and they're like, oh, he's going to fight a guy with a small record. I'm like, well, that's not fair. Some guy with a small record. But then when it's like, oh, well, I know Mickey, and I know he deserves to be there. Yeah. Then it's like, all right, well, I'm not so mad about it, I guess. So
He's a murderer.
But that's the one problem. The other end too, we were talking about how I went pro too soon and everything.
Yeah.
It's like Mickey took like a whole year off at some point, like just to really like work on his game because you're jumping right to the deep end of the pool. It's like you don't have a chance to kind of catch up and learn how to paddle a little bit. If you jump right in the deep end, there's no easy fight. So I helped him a lot for his fight over the summer, the one he won. He was fighting southpaw. So he hit me up. Hey, I need a southpah to train with. And everything. So everybody was gonna ask hey, is Mickey gonna win? Like. Of course, he's my guy. My answer, I want to say yes. It's like they're like, is this a good fight? Is it bad? Like, there's no like good matchups. There's no easy like in the regionals. You could kind of say, hey, this guy's a bum, and at the UFC level, everybody is a top opponent. And everything. So that's the thing that maybe in the beginning they gave him say, he did the smart thing. He beat CM Punk. He called out Sage Northcutt. He called out people that were good matchups and everything. But even Sage, he was one of those guys that built up Sage and everything.
Sage was a huge show.
Well, that's it. He was overhyped though. He was a guy that gave him good matchups and everything. And so that's the thing. So that doesn't ride forever. At a certain point, again, you got to fight the top contenders and everything. And that's what I'm just saying. So there's no easy fights for Mickey Gold. They're not looking out they're not looking for anyone, honestly, for the most part. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. There's nothing but tough fights for these guys. So again, that being said, yes, I mean Mickey, obviously he looked great in his again, he looked good in the last one, but the one before that, he looked awesome. He dropped the guy, he choked him out. So that's just saying. I mean,
we love Mickey. He's earned,
that's what I'm saying. He's earned his spot on the roster. That's what I'm saying. Everybody who thinks maybe, hey, he doesn't deserve it. He just beat a WWE guy. Well, he's proved he's more than just the CM Punk.
He's a monster, dude. Mickey's a monster.
That's I've known that before he ever had his first amateur fight and everything. So
just the part being attached to such a show, like to get the CM Punk fight was like winning the lottery, man.
Exactly. It's like golden ticket. Exactly. So, but that's what I'm saying. But it's one of those that could be a blessing or a curse because again, if you just kind of are in way over your head after that, maybe that's your golden moment and everything. Which is why he knew that he was
plotted
he was 3-0 in the UFC, 4-0. Like he took like a whole year off to say he went to he was training with Donald Cerrone, he was training with he was training with Matt Brown, so I could kind of talk real quick. Matt Brown, talking about rubber guard again. Matt Brown about a year
scary too.
Matt Brown, well, so about a year and some change ago, he was fighting Ben Saunders, well, he's a really good rubber guard guy. And so so he needed someone to kind of help him with that. Mickey told him, hey, I know this guy Hooben or whatever, to come out there. Fortunately, this was like a month right before my daughter was going to be born, so I had to turn that opportunity down.
The ranch, dude. He wanted you to come to the ring?
You're thinking of Cerrone. Matt Brown. I'm talking about Matt Brown. Okay. So that's the thing. Matt Brown, personally, was going to invite me to fly out there and everything, train with them. But it's one of those. It sucks that I had to turn that opportunity down. But, I mean, we follow each other on Instagram and everything. So
cool, man.
So that's what thing. So I mean, hopefully one day we'll get to train with him.
Cool, man. Dang.
I love it.
No, it's just one of those. That was a huge missed opportunity. Because I grew up watching both those guys. I remember watching Matt Brown on The Ultimate Fighter. I grew up watching Ben Saunders. A big fan of both those guys. So to be able to replicate one of the guys and help the other, that would have been awesome.
That would have been sick, dude.
Yeah.
You never know who you're gonna connect with in this world, I guess, right? With especially in the MMA world.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things. Again, Matt Brown he's not just gonna, hey, anybody know any rubber? Mickey was he was. That's what I'm saying. I mean, came up with Mickey on the regionals and everything.
Wow.
He was the one who put me in touch with them. So
where does Mickey go from here, man? What do you think? He's coming off a loss. He's what's the next move?
I don't know his exact record. I mean, he's definitely gonna get at least another.
He's gonna get another shot.
It's one of those. I mean, UFC kind of picks and chooses who they want, but usually you have to lose a couple in a row for them to kind of get ready and everything. So I mean, that's the thing. There's no easy matchups for him, so it's kind of whoever they give him next, he's going to have to accept. And and that's it's one of those. He's still a great fighter. It's just he might not have the same. And that's all these guys give him. The guy Alex Morano gave him all the props in the world. He's like, listen, man, he's got all his whole career's been here in the octagon and everything. So that's just and the whole career's been in the octagon, and yet he still performed. He's still got a good winning record. That's the thing. I mean, he's even the Mike Perry fight. It's like. That was Mike Perry. That was one of those. Mike Perry was definitely a big step up in competition. He definitely handled. He got the better of a lot of those.
I was shocked at that fight with Mickey.
That's good. In the striking, that's just on paper. He wasn't he's supposed to be the grappler, and Mike Perry's supposed to be the striker.
Man.
He definitely showed him.
He's tough, dude. I was so surprised his toughness.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, he's definitely cut it in. I mean, he can still win fights and everything.
Yeah, dude, he's a pro.
He's got time. He's only a year old. He's 30 probably. He's got time.
He's got time, dude. Still in your prime. Dang, dude. Well, any other questions for Alec, bro? We've been through it.
I got one. We're over 2 hours. I got one last. Yeah, we're over 2 hours.
I got one sound bites. I'm gonna add these to my YouTube channel.
Hell yeah, man!
Dude,
of course, if you need
sound bites for whipping boxing.
We're gonna shout it out again. We'll shout it out again.
I had one last question. Do you think, because you've obviously been following UFC and MMA for so long, do you think it's the most entertaining right now? You think this is the peak, or
me right now? I just got so much going on. To be honest with you, I don't watch it as much as I used to. One of the same friend I was kind of debating with last night about saying how Amanda's the best fighter and everything. He's laughing at me after that as she lost and everything. he gets mad at me all the time. He's like, man, you're not even a fan anymore and everything. Like, I don't watch it like used to. Like last week, he's because Mickey fought all the fight. Like it was a great fight card and everything. And meanwhile, he's telling me, dude, you got to watch Fizev. The guy who was like the co-main. Like, it's like, dude, it's like not that I don't want to watch it, just like running a business and everything. Yeah, it's like I don't.
You're a father.
The short and simple answer is I mean, I know there's a lot of exciting fights out there. Like I'm that guy right now who's very choosy, picks and chooses and everything. Like I watch my friends and Mickey's fighting. Aldo's one of my all time favorites. Like there's a lot of great matchups. So despite the fact that like I don't watch it as much as I used to, this fight card, the one last night. I mean, Oliveira and Poirier. Oliveira and Poirier was one of those fights that like I lean towards Charles, whereas I think the public lean towards Poirier and everything. But that was one of those. That was not a safe bet. We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast. How Oliveira stands so tall, and it's like I can't unsee that like Cub Swanson body shotting him. I can't. When the times he has broke it, especially at 145, Felder smashed him with ground and pound. It's like I know anybody's capable of like beating him and everything. And same with the Chandler. I thought Chandler. Again, it was one of those toss-up fight, but I thought Chandler is probably more likely to catch him with a knockout. Sure, he does get dropped. Poirier hurt him less. Like he's one of those guys. He's so dangerous, he can beat anybody, but he can also get beat by anybody. And now it looks like Gaethje's his next opponent. So that's what I'm saying. It's like so I will agree with your question. Yeah, there's so many great matchups on the horizon and everything. You got the heavyweight title again and then Ngannou and everything. So I mean, I'm just not as up to like I'm sure there's there's other good. I mean the welterweight division's kind of cleaned up. I'm trying to think, but. I'm just trying to think what other good matches. There's a lot of great matchups. And everything,
I just think it's the most entertaining sport.
I love it.
Of all time now.
I think Dana is like the king. Like he's just he's a good runs the business very well, promotes it very well.
He's unapologetic. That's what I like.
So
again, we talk about the fighter pay. How many people just like Dana, why you don't pay? You're an asshole. But he does not give a half a shit. He does not care. But not only does he not care because he knows the things that I'm saying. I like he knows that like you can tell me all day long.
Go look at the numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can tell me all day long how to run my business. It's like
look how well we do.
Not to get political, Donald Trump, okay, whatever you think of as a president, right? He dipped his toe into. I believe Mark Cuban, also dipped. This guy literally, I could be wrong about that, but I believe, he got an MMA of some type. Like,
oh, really?
I believe so. Back in, I think it was more of like a streaming
I didn't
network,
know that.
Really? Again, Donald Trump, I know, funded this promotion called Affliction, right?
Oh,
and Affliction, they're a T-shirt company, and they, he wasn't the one running it, but he was an investor, so he definitely had a say in this and everything. All I'm saying is, some of the smartest business people.
I remember back then you saw Affliction. Everyone was wearing Affliction.
But it comes down to these people thinking, hey, listen, we pay our fighters all this money to wear a T-shirt and everything. We know how to run the business too. So it's funny because the guy who was main event of their first show, Tim Sylvia, he was fighing Fedor. It was almost the exact same scenario as like Tyron Woodley. He was a guy who had a decorated, he's a decorated champion, had a hell of a highlight reel, but also had a lot of fights where he didn't really let his hands go. So fans didn't like this guy and everything. But they gave Tim Sylvia the biggest paycheck of his. Tim Sylvia could say, UFC never paid me, but Affliction took care of me. Well, guess what? They had 2 shows successfully. Their third show, Fedor lost his opponent. The whole event went under. The whole whatever you think of him as a president, Donald Trump, the entrepreneur, right? Invests and gets behind his company that went bankrupt after two successful shows and everything. You want to tell again, Dana White's like, you want to tell me how to run a business and everything. Dude, go out there and run a business. Go out there and do your own fight promotion. Everybody has this idea. Let's just pay the fighters more. Oh, it's so genius. Why didn't I think of that? So dude.
He doesn't apologize for nothing.
Yeah. Well, and this goes for any business, right? I mean, right now, I'm doing the boxing and everything. I'm coming at a really good time because, we're coming out of the pandemic.
Man.
Probably coming out of the pandemic, right?
Hopefully, man.
Look at these TKO boxings, a lot of boxing gyms in general, right? Yeah. Well, most boxing gyms, let's just talk about that for a second. Most of them are probably run by a police officer or a corrections officer who's doing it nonprofit and everything. Yeah. These TKOs and everything, they all went out of business, right? Mm-hmm. Because again, they have this, they're going for the Planet Fitness model of let's just charge it super cheap and hope people forget to credit their they don't beat themselves up because whatever, it's $100 a month or whatever. Yeah. Those places, when it's like you hit a little bit of adversity, they go out of business and everything. So that it's funny because the one, well, not funny, it sucks for them, but right in front, where Whippany is, right? Yeah. There's a Dunkin' Donuts right there. There was a CKO over there, right? Yeah. Where I grew up, my parents, there's one 5 minutes, 10, they're both out of business. I called these places partially because I just wanted an idea how much are they charging if they wanted to, just for a little bit of market research. It's hard to find a CKO in business right now because they all in business.
I don't see them anymore.
Again, we don't charge too much for, especially it depends what you compare it to, right? When you talk about an MMA gym and everything, they charge, again, the average price these days is $200 a month and everything. And again, we don't charge anywhere there because we save a lot of money by operating in the gym and everything. So we pass that savings on to the customers and everything. But people sometimes still say, "Oh man, that's a lot of money. That's too much money and everything." Well, it's compared to what? Well, they go to Retro Fitness, they go to they go to a CKO and everything, which price these things super low. And again, these are the ones that all went out of business during the pandemic and everything. Or talking about these ones you were saying earlier, how you go to a Planet Fitness. Can't stick with it and everything. You only pay $20 a month, but you're also getting $20 worth of quality and everything. So again, we're somewhere in between. We have professional level instruction, so you're getting what you begin at these other MMA gyms, for $200 a month and everything, for less money and everything. But again, it's still, I'm not gonna say it's cheap. It's still it still costs something and everything.
Yeah,
but
bro.
again, you're paying for expertise.
Quality, yeah.
That's the
Pay
thing,
for what you get.
You're paying for quality, but that's what I mean. At the end of the day, it's like these ones that say, oh, there's someone out there doing it cheaper.
Yeah.
But like again, where are they right now? Out of business. They're,
man.
The pandemic wiped them out, and again, it sucks. I definitely feel bad for any business owners, but that's where talking about circling this back to Dana White and everything. It's like guess what? He had shut down events for what, like 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, they didn't go to bit. He talks about it all the time. He never had to lay off a single employee.
He never did.
UFC fighter didn't have to lay off a staff.
Dude.
Any of the and that's the thing. All these people just say, oh, just invest every dollar into the fighter. Well, again, talking about this affliction promotion. One thing goes wrong. One fighter tests positive for steroids. The whole event is over, right?
Over.
And not only did obviously Josh Barnett. We're talking about Josh Barnett who tested positive and everything, but that means everybody. The Vitor, Fedor, all those guys who were on the undercard. They all lost their paycheck too and everything.
Man.
So that's what I say. All the every day. Hey, this. High tides raise all ships. That's what I'm trying to say. So UFC fighter pay, like we talked about, it's gone up. It's more than the company. It's more than Bellator. It's more than PFL or all these kind of things. But part of the reason why is because they keep reinvesting it.
Yeah.
So talking about kind of what I was saying with Whippany Boxing, I don't plan on taking a paycheck for for a good while and everything because I plan to keep reinvesting it because I want to get to a point where now everybody get paid and everything.
Yes.
So it's like could I have dumped money and paid myself on day one? If but I might not be here a year from now. Then if I just took these short term profits and everything.
Man.
So that's the kind of thing. A business person knows that you have to have the long term vision and everything. Whereas again, the casual fan who just reads the headlines and poor UFC fighter doesn't get paid enough. They're going to tell you how to run their business. So going back to Dana does not give a shit about your opinion. It's like you want to tell him, you need to pay him more. You should do this. You should
Can't tell him.
Man, I'm the one who's running the business, man. I know what I'm doing here.
Go make your own business. That's what he said.
And again, at the end of the day, who's paying the most? UFC, because they knew how to, and at the end of the day, in the big picture, everybody wins. You got to be able to take a short-term loss or, and again, in the big picture, they're the ones who are paying the most out there.
Yeah.
Again, that's the people get mad because percentage-wise, they're not spending every dollar, but you have money for a rainy day and everything.
Man. They're covered.
Have money to reinvest in everything.
They're covered, dude.
You talk about building up the undercard fighters and everything. They take care of everybody.
That contender series, the series they do outside of the UFC, like come on.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Their branding. That's what I mean. At the end of the day, I think he's talked about this in an interview where it's like he doesn't just promote one single fighter. That's what boxing does. Everyone says, Loma makes all this money. Floyd, Canelo, all these guys, they make so much money. But again, he invests in the sport. Like the UFC's brand name is bigger than the athletes. Yeah. And again, some people they want to tell you how wrong that is, but it's proven the other way around. No, it's for everybody. It's better if the UFC's brand is bigger.
Totally.
I don't remember the last UFC that's not been like an amazing card.
Dude, yeah, I don't
amazing
really know.
card.
I don't really know.
One of these days, I get sick or a rainy day or something. I'm just gonna have to go on ESPN and catch up and everything. I've watched the last few pay-per-views,
man.
But dude. Well, they say it all the time. Yeah, so and sometimes the ones you don't expect to. The card Brian Ortega and Volkanovski. I didn't think that was that great. My friend asked me, the friend we're talking about, he's like, let's come out and watch it. I went more to see him. I haven't seen him in a while and everything. Yeah. I didn't have any expectations that'd be a good card, and that was one of the best cards of the year.
Yeah, man, it was unbelievable.
The main event was awesome. There was a lot of fights.
Unbelievable. Yeah, dude. But
Whippany Boxing.
Dude, let's shout him out real quick.
156 Algonquin Parkway, Whippany, New Jersey. No experience required. Again, if you want to get in shape, if you want to learn how to box, we have something for everybody. We could do one-on-one lessons. We could do classes. We have classes early morning, afternoons, evenings, later evenings. And we're going to keep adding more because talking about reinvesting in the company. That right now we're still a growing stage and everything. Where we operate space out of the Whippany Athletic Club. So again, we pass that savings on to you guys. So it comes with their dream membership, and that's one thing that's always kind of hard to explain to people that they always think they're paying more. Like, I don't use that half of the room. The weight, we save you money by doing that. Think of it like if you bought a combo meal, right? You want a burger, you want some fries. It comes with the soda. Look, if you're saving money, just dump that soda on the ground. Forget it even exists or whatever. You save money, but and you have a free gym membership. So again, instead of paying $200 a month for just the instruction and then having to get a gym membership on top, whether you use it or not, so again, a professional instructor. I got over a decade experience. My guy CJ, he's an up-and-coming fighter. We didn't talk at all. My guy Steve Harris fought last night as well. He fought an MMA fight. Yeah, so he had a good unanimous decision win. So we got some up-and-coming fighters. We got a couple others. Nico Pryor right now who's teaching the morning classes. We got this kid Lewis who just signed up. I know he's going to be real good. Matt Pastor. We got a lot of these guys. I could keep giving everybody shout-outs, but I'm saying we're an up-and-coming gym. That's what I'm saying. So get in now while we're still kind of growing. While we're again prices are still relatively low compared to for the quality you're getting here. again, now's the time to sign up here. So New Year's coming up. Again, if your New Year's resolution is to be healthier, if you want to learn a skill set, you're just a big MMA fan, boxing fan. I should say boxing particularly. Down the road, everybody always asks when we're going to add grappling. It might be in the future one day, but right now, again, we're really focused on the boxing and. But yeah, so exactly.
My rubber guard
anybody who's
going.
interested, anybody who's interested, Whippany Boxing on Instagram. We do have a website. I don't know if it's finalized. There might be some kinks in it. Don't judge us.
Okay.
Put it all below too.
Looking, but
All
Links below.
Yeah. So yeah, if you need to get in touch, like I said, Instagram right now is the best way to get in touch. Or else you can find my name is Alec Hooben, AlecHooben. You can follow me personally on Instagram. And like I said, I'm also a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so there's a lot of you guys want to learn some grappling, you want to learn some private lessons as well. Have me out for a seminar or any of that stuff. So
let's go.
He can kill you if you want to, dude, with his bare hands. No, but really reach out because, dude, that was my New Year's resolution was boxing. And I said I'm going to do this for the year. I'm going to learn how to do
last year you're talking about
last year for 2020.
And so that kind of speaks to all the people who said, "Oh, I'm going to join Max Challenge," and where were they in February? They're not even. And here you are. We're just short of a year now. So there you go. You've stuck with it. And so if you want to work out, you're actually exactly. You want to work out, you're actually going to stick with. Again, whether it's you work with your trainer Angela, but it's like whether you're doing classes as a trainer, at the end of the day, it's about finding something enjoyable they're going to do.
Yes,
jumping on a box and throwing medicine balls or whatever. That to me, I don't know about you. Listen, no. If you like it, cool. That's whatever it sticks with, whatever gets you moving, whatever keeps you healthy. But again, if that stuff doesn't excite you, man, try putting on a pair of gloves and
switch it up.
You'll find out who you are. That's what I'll say, man. You'll find out who you are. It's a beautiful process. Alec, thanks for joining the show, man.
Thank you. So
dude, you'll definitely find Dave at the gym too.
And I'll be there.
In the morning if you're an early bird.
You never know. You never know.
He's there before I am.
Mikey might.
I think Mikey's going to be.
Mikey might come through. I don't know. We're gonna see.
We got a T-shirt for him, possibly.
Let me know your set.
Once you give me the T-shirt, I gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Well, you say you goated. Yeah, that's the marketing behind it. You wear this thing, now you have to go.
That's right, dude. Part of the team,
dude. I mean, that's episode 151. Alec, thank you so much again.
Awesome.
We'll have you back again
for sure.
I feel like you should. I feel like you should just have an MMA talk show. To be honest,
exactly. You guys got to hook me up with the equipment. Me, I'll rent.
Man. Hey, dude, I got you.
This might have been 2 hours, but I got a lot more to say.
Yeah, bro.
There's a lot more
in the future,
we talked about what two or three of my fights. There's I got a lot more stories.
Let's watch a fight one day with someone on the card. We'll have you over, watch the fight.
That'd be cool.
Like a Joe Rogan style.
Yeah, a little fight companion. That'd be fun.
We could do that. Yeah, like I said, you guys got the equipment. I can do it. I just don't have the stuff.
Yeah, man. We'll have you over, dude. Invite Mickey up.
In the future, man, we might have.
Mickey might be too big time.
Mickey, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Join the squad, dude.
I might be able to. If he's fighting a southpaw, then maybe I'll go to him.
Okay. Cool. I'll get Danny over. That's what we'll do. We'll get Danny over. That'll be good,
man. Yeah. You guys know where to find the podcast. Our podcast, Spotify, YouTube video. You know what all. Shout out to the patrons out there. Patreon.com/YouAreHerePod. My name's Mike. Signing out.
Hey, my name's Dave. I love y'all. Please be kind to one another.
Boom. Alec Hooben.
Alec Whippany Boxing or Alec Hooben on Instagram.
Let's go.
Bang.